Part 20. Fantasy, I'm really not an unparalleled expert. Author, Xuanhuan. Chapter 192. Fairyland. Somewhere secret. The various avenues of heaven and earth are intertwined here, and the rich Taoist charm is astonishing. A white tiger lay on the edge of a medicinal field, looking at the fairy palace in the distance. His aura is very powerful and immortal. However, there is a black gold chain around his neck, and he is locked here like a dog. Soon, a white-haired old man appeared beside the medicine field. Xuanhuan, the master has allowed you to leave for a few days. Remember to go and come back quickly. The old man held a key in his hand and unlocked the mysterious gold chain. The white tiger suddenly transformed into a middle-aged man in white robe. Extraordinary heroism. Don't worry, ancestor, Xuanhuan will return immediately after the True Lord's Blessing conference is over. Bai Xuanhuan said. By the way, the master told you to look for traces of the real phoenix along the way. She said that there is still a real phoenix in the lower realm. Hearing this, Bai Xuanhuan looked shocked. True phoenix? Is this extremely terrifying clan not extinct yet? Hidden in the nether? This is a shocking secret. He immediately nodded and said. Xuanhuan must go all out. Soon, Bai Xuanhuan left that secret place. He appeared in the northern immortal realm. He moved forward quickly, and not long after, he had entered the White Tiger Immortal Kingdom. With the help of the Immortal Kingdom teleportation formation, he quickly arrived at his immortal city, Xuanhuan Immortal City. The true king is back. The real king is back. For a time, countless immortal generals in the immortal city were overjoyed. Inform Bai Qi and summon all the immortals to meet me. Bai Xuanhuan walked into his huge palace calmly. Soon, all the great immortal generals from Xuanhuan Immortal City had gathered. The leader is surprisingly the immortal general Bai Qi. Meet the true king. Meet the true king. Many immortal generals spoke one after another. The True Lord Blessing Conference, this year, I will be the one to bless you. Are you ready? Bai Xuanhuan spoke calmly. True Lord Qi, everything has been prepared. Bai Qi stepped forward and spoke, saying. You only need to activate the Sugeng array to summon the geniuses from all races in the lower realm branches to gather in the Sugeng domain. The Sugeng domain was created by the immortal king of their White Tiger clan. The Sugeng realm is between reality and reality, and the White Tigers from all realms can enter it with their souls as long as they are summoned. Bai Xuanhuan said lightly. Very good, ready to start. Many immortal generals immediately said. Yes. Many immortal generals left immediately. True Lord, I have something to report. At this time, Bai Qi stepped forward and spoke. Explain. A few days ago, a message came from the lower realm of Dayuan realm that a fusion of all realms had occurred in the lower realm. Bai Qi spoke solemnly and said. Moreover, Bai Yuan, the genius of the branch of the Earth Yuan realm, has been strangled, including the entire branch, and cannot be contacted, they may be wiped out. Hearing this, Bai Xuanhuan's eyes suddenly flashed with anger. Fusion of all realms. Although this kind of thing is important, he doesn't really care. However, all branches are destroyed. Is this a provocation to the White Tiger clan? Yes, my subordinate used a drop of Bai Yuan's blood to deduce cause and effect, but it is intangible. It seems to involve a very high level. Bai Qi donated a drop of blood. True Lord Xuanhuan glanced at the blood essence indifferently. At this moment, the blood essence suddenly exploded. Turn into blood mist. In the blood mist, there was a faint cry of reluctance. Bai Xiaoqing. Upon hearing these three words, Bai Qi's expression suddenly changed and he said. What, Bai Xiaoqing actually killed him? An angry look suddenly appeared in his eyes. Bai Xiaoqing is a daughter of the Xiantian realm lineage, this lineage is so brave. True Lord, Bai Qi requests to send someone down to the lower realm to punish them. He was very angry. The Xuanhuan Zhou lineage is too courageous. He actually dared to kill Bai Yuan, destroy the White Tiger lineage in the Earth Yuan realm, and destroy his own puppet body. How can you not avenge this? No need. Bai Xiaoyang spoke indifferently and said, when the true Lord blesses the conference, I will deal with it myself. Go down. Hearing this, Bai Qi immediately didn't dare to say anything and retreated. Even I can't see through the layers, it's kind of interesting. After Bai Qi left, Bai Xiaoyang murmured. Just now, he used a secret technique that should have used that drop of blood to evolve the scene of Bai Yuan before his death. But in the end, only 3 words came out. This means that even his personality is not enough to detect. 3 days flew by. Soon, in Xiaoyang Immortal City, terrifying arrays suddenly rose up. The formation enveloped the entire Xiaoyang Fairy City. Moreover, this formation is just a corner of a large formation somewhere. Millions of tons of fairy stones inject energy into the formation. A gap in the formation was opened. The Sugang formation is the work of the Immortal King. Every immortal level fairy city in the White Tiger Immortal Kingdom has an entrance to this formation. Whichever True Lord's turn it is to host the True Lord's Blessing Conference, whichever fairy city will be responsible for providing the operating costs of the entire Sugang formation and summoning talents from all walks of life. That's it. In the vast sea of void, within millions of lower realms. In many lower realms, the magic formations in the mountains suddenly light up. The roar of the White Tiger shook the world. Entrances to Sugang's array were opened. The talents, clan leaders, and other figures in the lower realm will be summoned to enter the Sugang formation. Now. Skyline. Kangli Mountains, small mountain village. Everything in the small courtyard is in order. Since returning a few days ago, Bai Xiaoqing has been going to the chickens from time to time. At this moment, Bai Xiaoqing stayed there with the chickens for a while before running back to Li Fan. Xiaobai, do you want to eat eggs? Li Fan asked with some confusion. Meow meow. Bai Xiaoqing shouted. Li Fan smiled helplessly, touched Bai Xiaoqing's head, stood up and stretched, and said. Ziling, Nanfeng, let's go, I'll take you out to sketch. I haven't been out and about for a long time. As you command. Xiling and Nanfeng were both overjoyed. Every time they went out with Li Fan, they would gain a lot. Not long after, Li Fan took them away. As soon as Li Fan and others left, Bai Xiaoqing quietly reached the door and slipped out. At this moment, Xiantian Prefecture's White Tiger Mountain Range. The magic circle has enveloped this place. The power of summons is gradually strengthening. Clan leader, our bloodline brand is in Sugang's territory. It won't be long before the power of this magic circle is stronger, and we will be forcibly summoned. An elder spoke worriedly. Now their lineage has offended the immortal realm. The tribesmen are all afraid and dare not face it. Bai Xiaofeng also felt heavy. Dad, I'm back. At this time, Bai Xiaoqing appeared. Qing-er. Bai Xiaofeng looked at Bai Xiaoqing, but he was a little worried and said. Are you really planning to enter the Sugang realm? As long as the White Tiger clan is born, the blood brand will reappear in Sugang's domain. When the Sugang domain is opened, no one who is summoned can resist, and the soul will definitely be sucked into it. However, Bai Xiaofeng believed that with Bai Xiaoqing following the Lord of Heaven, perhaps the Lord of Heaven would be able to avoid the influence of the formation. Now Bai Xiaoqing is back. Don't worry, Daddy. Bai Xiaoqing said, I'm fine. She puffed out her chest proudly and stepped into the magic circle. She sat down cross-legged. Then she closed her eyes. Bai Xiaofeng hesitated for a moment, gritted his teeth, and entered the room, sitting next to his daughter. Between the imaginary and the real, there is some mysterious and profound power that is affecting the movement of the heavens. A vast formation is being constructed. Each Zhengjin symbol together supports a strange space. There is a great power in this space that is summoning all the beings in the world. Soon, a fairy palace was constructed. Under the immortal palace, 9 pools composed of various runes appeared in succession. Next to the pool, a mysterious stone pillar appeared. On the stone pillar, some mysterious white tiger cloud pattern was carved. Immediately afterwards, streaks of light and shadow poured in from the outside world. In that fairy palace, there is a huge throne. A light and shadow appeared on it, transformed into a human figure. Astonishingly, he is the true Lord Xiaoyang. On both sides of the immortal palace, powerful immortal generals appeared one after another. Bai Qi and others were prominently standing on both sides. Lead all the veins in the lower world into the realm of Sugang. True Lord Xiaoyang's words sounded faintly. Suddenly, the runes in the void magic circle burst into flames. Countless lights and shadows were instantly siphoned in from millions of lower realms by this great formation. The light and shadow all turned into human figures, appearing in various areas under the immortal palace, centered on the 9 huge rune secret pools. We have entered the realm of Sugang. It's a familiar feeling. I don't know who will stand out in this class. Among the millions of lower realms, some talents can often be born, and they may even win the favor of the true Lord and be brought into the fairyland. The people who entered this place were all clan leaders and elite geniuses from all the major branches in the millions of lower realms. They were all talking and excited at this moment. And then, a certain light and shadow also appeared in the crowd, transformed into a beautiful girl. Surprisingly, it was Bai Xiaoqing. Beside him, Bai Xiaofeng and several others also appeared. Is this Sugang's realm? Bai Xiaoqing looked at the world with her big eyes. This is her first time entering this place. The True Lord's Blessing Conference has begun. Geniuses from various states can test their own bloodline power and obtain the secret pool of runes to cleanse their bodies. In front of the immortal palace, an immortal general stood up and spoke loudly. The most important thing in the True King's Blessing Conference is to test the power of bloodline. Among the millions of lower realms, the White Tiger clan has at least thousands of branches, and among these branches, any outstanding genius can enter the corresponding secret rune pool to be cleansed as long as he passes the test of the secret rune pool. Those pools can not only improve bloodline, but also contain various magical secrets and so on. And if the power of blood is very strong, you will be able to receive blessings from the True Lord. This is the reason why the major White Tiger branches are extremely enthusiastic about the True Lord Blessing Conference. However, go try it quickly. Yuan Ling, hurry up, your bloodline is very powerful, you will definitely be able to enter the first 7 rune secret pools. Dad, I'm going. In an instant, tens of thousands of branches in the millions of lower realms, as well as the younger generation of elite clansmen, etc., all headed towards the secret pool of runes. Especially the 7th rune secret pool has the most people. Among the 9 secret pools, the opportunities are different and the difficulty of entering is also different. Only true geniuses can enter the 7th secret pool of runes. As for the 6th secret pool of runes, in the True King's Blessing Conference in history, no more than 100 people can enter it. The number of people who can step into the 5th secret pool of runes is no more than 10 fingers, and everyone who has entered it is valued. After entering the immortal realm, the achievement is at least an immortal general. Each rune secret pool has a radius of several kilometers. A secret pool of runes that can test hundreds of people every time. In front of the 7th secret pool, countless geniuses from all walks of life stepped forward. On the huge stone pillar, the mysterious cloud pattern suddenly turned into countless strange phenomena. Those were terrifying wolves, howling and oppressing everyone. Faced with that kind of oppression, countless geniuses and bloodline powers were instantly activated. Ah! A genius was knocked away and his body almost split open. No. A young man knelt on the ground and couldn't get up. Most geniuses, under the pressure of this cloud pattern, can only kneel down. In the end, none of the first batch of geniuses passed the test. It's too scary. Let's start the test from the 9th secret pool. If you pass, you can continue to move forward. Yes, it would be unwise to challenge the 7th one from the beginning. The 9th cloud pattern represents the power of the strong wind, the 8th secret pool represents the power of the mountains, and the 7th one is qualitative change, representing the power of the Sirius. It is said that each stone pillar in front contains more power than the sky. The wolf is more powerful with the power of various races. Start from the 9th. Seeing this scene, many people calmed down. Immediately, most people turned to the 9th one. In front of the 9th secret pool, the cloud patterns on the stone pillars moved, and the wind howled. The strong wind bursts. Many geniuses couldn't resist and still lost. But a few people were able to stay and get the chance to enter. The number of people in the 8th secret pool is smaller, but among each batch of people who take the test, 7 or 8 people can stay. Groups of people in the field came forward to take the test. Soon, almost all the elites of the tens of thousands of white tiger tribes had completed the test. In the end, nearly 100 people before and after successfully passed the test of the 7th secret pool, arousing the envy of geniuses in all worlds. These nearly 100 geniuses then challenged the 6th one, but the result was tragic. Only 2 people withstood the power of the leopard in the 6th secret pool and successfully entered it. And above the 5th secret pool is the power of the divine eagle, which no one can approach. This time, no one has entered the 5th secret pool. It's too weak. I can't imagine that the major branches of the lower world are actually so weak. In the last session, I remember that there were still 2 people who could enter the 5th secret pool. One session is not as good as the other. Before the Immortal Palace, many immortal generals shook their heads. They all found the results unsatisfactory. And in the Immortal Palace, on top of the giant throne, true Lord Xuanhuan had a somewhat cold look in his eyes. You must know that the Million Lower Realm is an important source of talent for the White Tiger Master sect in the immortal domain. If the younger generation cannot do it, who will protect the fairy land in the future? And among the tens of thousands of branches in the lower realm, there is not a single person who can reach the 5th secret pool. For such people, even if they give them blessings, it will be of no use. Too poor. Seeing the expression on true Lord Xuanhuan's face, Bai Qi immediately stepped forward and said, "True Lord Qi, according to convention, generally only geniuses who have given birth to a trace of the white tiger's true blood can compete with the power of the divine eagle. And Bai Yuan, a clan member of the Earth Yuan realm, has already given birth to a trace of the white tiger's true blood. But, he was murdered, and the entire Earth Yuan world was massacred." He looked coldly at a certain area among the crowd below and said, "The murderer is a member of the Xiantian realm's lineage. Bai Xiaoqing." His voice shook the entire Sugang realm. Below, tens of thousands of White Tiger clan members heard it. At this moment, everyone is in an uproar. People from various branches around Bai Xiaoqing, Bai Xiaofeng, and others were like avoiding snakes and scorpions, and they hurriedly opened the distance between them in panic. Fantasy, I'm really not an unparalleled expert. Author, Xuanhuan. Chapter 193. For a moment, everyone in the Wanja branch felt as if they had seen a ghost and avoided the Xuanatian Zhou branch in panic. Bai Xiaofeng, Bai Xiaoqing, and others were immediately watched by countless people. You dare to kill the genius who gave birth to the white tiger's true blood. This is an unforgivable crime in the clan. One lineage killed each other, and also wiped out the entire lineage of the Earth Yuan realm. They have only one way to die. Everyone spoke one after another. In front of the immortal palace above, Bai Beiki also walked out in one step, looked at Bai Xiaoqing and others coldly, and said, "Why don't you kneel down and confess your sins, waiting for destruction?" The terrifying pressure burst out instantly. Bai Qina is the #1 immortal general under the true Lord Xiaoyang. His cultivation level is almost at the peak of Deluo Golden Immortal. He has given birth to the aura of immortality, which is very terrifying. In an instant, countless branches of the lower realm were shocked. Bai Xiaofeng also felt extremely stressed and worried to the extreme. The Sugeng domain is also closely related to the real world. If you are killed here, your soul will be destroyed and you will die. Bai Xiaofeng stepped forward bravely and said, "Elder Bai Qi, the demise of the Daiyuan realm lineage is entirely his own fault. In the last True Lord Blessing Conference, you personally made a marriage contract between Bai Yuan, the clan member of the Daiyuan realm, and my daughter Bai Xiaoqing. However, the people of the Daiyuan realm threatened our clan, not only to destroy the marriage contract, but also to collect my son as a slave to help him improve his bloodline. Our clan was forced to take action. Please be fair to your true lord." Hearing this, Bai Qi in the sky became even more angry and shouted, "Be bold. Bai Qi has given birth to the white tiger's true blood. He should have entered the immortal realm. How can you allow you to kill the genius? Even if he has all kinds of faults, he is still a genius of our clan. To kill a genius is an unpardonable crime. He must wipe out the whole lineage of Xiantian realm today. If true Lord Xiaoyang hadn't still been sitting in the immortal palace, he would have killed them directly without speaking so much." But at this moment, Bai Xiaoqing stepped forward and said indifferently, "What Elder Bai means is that as long as the power of the innate bloodline is strong enough, you can do whatever you want." Bai Qi said coldly, "The geniuses among the younger generation are the key to our clan's future prosperity. The strong are respected." Bai Xiaoqing said indifferently, "Very good." After saying that, she suddenly stepped forward. She stepped directly onto the steps of the 7th rune secret pool. In an instant, Sirius roared, light and shadow appeared, and the power of Sirius was oppressing her. However, Bai Xiaoqing stepped forward step by step, as if walking on flat ground. Bang! That ancient stone pillar suddenly exploded at this moment. In the secret rune pool, countless golden symbols were flying like water, surrounding Bai Xiaoqing. Seeing this scene, everyone present was shocked. What's happening here? Why did she break the Sirius stone pillar? No. Does this mean that the power of her bloodline, even the Sirius stone pillar, cannot withstand it? Everyone was in an uproar. There have been many geniuses in the True King's Blessing Conference throughout the ages. However, this is the first time that the stone pillar has been shattered. In the sky, Bai Qi was also surprised, but then became even more angry and said, "How dare you? You actually dare to destroy Su Geng's domain. Do you want to rebel?" He shouted angrily and was about to take action. But at this moment, in the immortal palace, true Lord Xiaoyang's words came faintly. "Let her continue. Let her continue." Bai Qi was stunned for a moment and did not dare to move again. Below, Bai Xiaoqing was very indifferent, and then walked towards the 6th secret pool. The power of the divine leopard appeared, like countless golden leopards roaring. But Bai Xiaoqing just waved her hand. Bang! The stone pillars of the 6th secret pool also exploded. No longer exists. Countless runes in the 6th secret pool, just like before, rushed directly towards Bai Xiaoqing, surrounding her, making her look like a saint. Hiss! At this moment, everyone in the venue was shocked. My God, even the stone pillars of the 6th secret pool can't stop her. How strong is the power of her bloodline? She can be called the strongest bloodline in this conference, right? You must know that among the geniuses with tens of thousands of branches, Only 2 people paid a heavy price to enter the 6th secret pool. But now, Bai Xiaoqing is so strong. At this moment, even the bunch of immortal generals in front of the immortal palace could not sit still. It's not simple, this woman is not simple. Even when the stone pillar of the 6th secret pool collapsed, I felt that the power of her bloodline was not fully displayed. There are rumors in ancient times that a true bloodline strongman can make stone pillars break into pieces. Could it be that her bloodline power can be compared to the geniuses of ancient times? They all spoke. Bai Qi was stunned. He understood it now. The power of Bai Xiaoqing's bloodline is probably not simple. Elder Bai, if we judge by bloodline, if Bai Yuan is here, can he break 4 pillars in a row? Bai Xiaoqing spoke coldly. Bai Qi's face darkened and he said, "There are many geniuses in our clan who can enter the 6th secret pool. What qualifications do you have to shout?" Bai Xiaoqing moved forward and arrived in front of the 5th secret pool in an instant. The condor screamed, and each huge condor seemed to have traveled through time and space. It exuded such power that everyone's expressions changed drastically. No one in the branches of the world can compete with the power of the divine eagle. However, there was only a faint layer of blood on Bai Xiaoqing's palm. Bang! The stone pillars of the 5th secret pool also cracked instantly. The secret pool of runes turned into a river of light and entered Bai Xiaoqing's body. At this moment, everyone in the audience was extremely shocked. The 5th secret pool, she can actually enter the 5th secret pool. This is supreme genius. And it's so easy, as if she didn't exert any force at all. Everyone was shocked. All the immortal generals before the immortal palace were also shocked. Many of them successfully entered the 5th secret pool at the True Lord's Blessing Conference, were selected to enter the immortal realm, and have grown up to this day. Therefore, they understood how terrifying the power of that figure was. But now, Bai Xiaoqing actually shattered the stone pillars of the 5th secret pool so easily. Terrible! This woman's talent may be immortal. She must have also given birth to White Tiger true blood, right? Many immortal generals spoke. Bai Qi's face was very ugly. Livid. Even if Bai Yuan comes, can he do it? Even if Bai Yuan successfully gave birth to the White Tiger true blood, it would still be extremely difficult to get into it, and a huge price would have to be paid. It can't be that easy. Bai Xiaoqing's bloodline power is actually stronger than Bai Yuan's. Did he offend a true genius? No. He gritted his teeth and shouted. It's just that you can enter the 5th secret pool. This cannot offset your sin of killing the genius. However, he just finished speaking. Bai Xiaoqing stepped onto the 4th secret pool. On the stone pillar of the 4th secret pool, in an instant, a terrifying bull roar came out. One after another, the terrifying ancient yak appeared instantly, as if bursting out of time and space, carrying terrifying arrogance. At this moment, everyone in the 10,000 Realms branch felt an invincible pressure. The ancient yak. Terrible. Invincible. Everyone exclaimed. Before the immortal palace, countless immortal generals also opened their eyes wide. None of them can step into the 4th secret pool. However, at this moment, there was a faint layer of blood rising outside Bai Xiaoqing's body. Vaguely, a tiger's low roar sounded. The light and shadow of countless ancient cattle shattered like decay. The stone pillars of the 4th secret pool collapsed. In the 4th secret pool, countless golden runes were poured into Bai Xiaoqing's body like the words of the Great Avenue. At this moment, the entire audience was shocked and fell into silence. Their eyes all fell on Bai Xiaoqing, full of incredible expressions. Enter the 4th secret pool. The first person in history. Besides, she didn't try her best. In an instant, everyone was shocked. This is a peerless genius. Before the immortal palace, many immortal generals shrank their pupils. Peerless genius, our clan will be greatly prospered. Immortal posture, immortal posture. Such bloodline talents must be cultivated by the true Lord himself. They all spoke solemnly. Bai Qi was stunned and looked at Bai Xiaoqing, completely stunned. How could it be, so strong? That is the fourth secret pool. Even he, Bai Qi, wanted to break into it when he was young, but just got close and was seriously injured and almost died. But now Bai Xiaoqing is relaxed. However, Bai Xiaoqing did not stop at this moment. She stepped directly onto the third secret pool. Everyone in the audience opened their eyes wide and watched. Since ancient times, no one knows what kind of oppression the third secret pool will face. Bai Xiaoqing stepped into it. A roar sounded like a beast that existed in the wild land. A mysterious beast with golden body appeared. Golden lion. Countless golden lions emit torrential flames. The Golden Lion clan once competed with the White Tiger clan in ancient times. The powerful bloodline suppression caused many people to vomit blood directly. At this moment, Bai Xiaoqing's body was inside her body. The powerful blood condensed into a terrifying white tiger. A roar of a tiger. In an instant, the Golden Lion was destroyed. In the third secret pool, the stone pillars collapsed. All the mysterious runes were collected by Bai Xiaoqing. At this moment, Bai Xiaoqing also had a solemn expression. Because she felt that these mysterious runes would be of great help to her. Without stopping, she turned around and stepped onto the second secret pool. What appeared this time was the ancient dragon elephant. Each ancient dragon elephant is heavier than 1,000 and has terrifying power. There are thousands of them at this moment. Bai Xiaoqing's body glowed with golden light, her blood surged, and the white tiger roared wildly. She successfully broke into it. The stone pillar of the second secret pool is also broken. She stopped in front of the secret pool and received countless mysterious runes. At this moment, everyone in the world was staring at her blankly. Unexpectedly, I entered the second secret pool. This is the only example in history. This is an unrivaled talent, an unparalleled genius. In front of the immortal palace, an immortal general was extremely solemn and said, "We must send someone immediately to take her from the lower realm to the fairyland and protect her closely. Xuezhang, we should hide her in Xuezhang. This is most likely the key to the great prosperity of our clan. Then, we must activate the grand formation to cut off everyone's memories. If the enemy of the immortal realm learns about this unparalleled talent, I am afraid that the whole family will invade in order to murder her." All the immortal generals were excited, looking at Bai Xiaoqing as if they were looking at a treasure. Bai Qi, on the other hand, could not say a word at this moment. He was stunned. My limbs were even frozen. What kind of peerless genius did I offend? This cause and effect, can he bear it? Even in the immortal palace, true Lord Xiaoyang had a divine light in his eyes at this moment. Looking at Bai Xiaoqing from afar, his face was solemn, with a hint of excitement. The second secret pool was one that he himself had not managed to break into. At this moment, Bai Xiaoqing below did not stop. She stepped forward and walked to the first secret pool. In the first secret pool, the runes are even more mysterious, as if they contain some kind of eternal inheritance. She stepped forward. Ouch! Tiger roars. In the stone pillar of the first secret pool. It contains the power of the white tiger. The ancient white tigers seem to come from another world. Those white tigers have monstrous blood and world-shaking cultivation. After millions of years, a descendant has finally awakened his bloodline. Can he revive us for a moment? A grand old voice sounded instantly. These are, the ancestors of our white tiger clan. God, is this the mark they left in Su Geng's domain? Even if they are separated by millions of years, they will not be destroyed. They are all left by the peerless experts from the ancient times. In an instant, countless white tigers in the field knelt down and worshipped. Above the immortal palace, the immortal general bows his head. True Lord Xiaoyang took one step forward and saluted from afar. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Fantasy, I'm really not an unparalleled expert. Author, Xuanhuan. Chapter 194. In the realm of Sugang. All branches of the world, everyone pays homage. Before the immortal palace, the immortal general bows his head. In the immortal palace, true Lord Xiaoyang walked out and bowed deeply from the distance. In front of the first secret pool, among the stone pillars, countless true shadows of ancient white tigers seemed to be passing through the years. At this moment, Bai Xiaoqing, who was standing in front of the stone pillar, felt a kind of gaze. It seemed like countless eyes were looking at me. The next moment, a figure appeared. Suddenly walked towards her. They raised their hands. The golden light that filled the sky was like a divine cloud, pressing towards Bai Xiaoqing. This is oppression from the ancient strong men of the same race. Bai Xiaoqing's expression remained unchanged. The power of her blood was now being unleashed under the oppression of the strong men of her own race. Boom! In an instant, the world shines with golden light. The entire Sugang domain was shaken and fell into great fluctuations. Everyone in the field couldn't look straight and could only close their eyes. At this moment, their blood was trembling, and they prostrate themselves on the ground, prostrate themselves to the ground, and worshipped the beautiful figure in front of the first secret pool. Even the expressions of many of the immortal generals before the immortal palace changed drastically. They couldn't help but knelt down towards Bai Xiaoqing's back. Their bloodline is also very strong, but compared to Bai Xiaoqing's at this moment. But it is like a firefly compared to the sun. This is a kind of supreme bloodline suppression. Even true Lord Xiaoyang looked at Bai Xiaoqing's figure in shock. His bloodline was under great oppression, and he had to use the immortal Dao fruit to maintain his calm. Now, Bai Xiaoqing seemed to be in the golden sun. The powerful power of blood radiates to the heavens. Even the figures that came out of the years looked dim. The stone pillar bearing the mark of the ancient strongman of the White Tiger clan was even more cracked at this moment. In an instant, countless mysterious imprints in the first secret pool of runes suddenly turned into a golden tiger and sank into Bai Xiaoqing's body. She. Connect 9 levels. Obtain the supreme inheritance from the first secret pool. The strong men who walked out of the stone pillars were silent for a long time. This type of bloodline, even in ancient times, would never have been born. A figure whispered. The ultimate ancestral blood is comparable to the 10 immortal kings of the ancient times. Has the golden age arrived? Some people are confused and seem to be in a trance. The White Tiger clan will surely rise. Some people are happy. In this life, the supreme ancestor is bleeding. Perhaps, this woman is the daughter of the calamity. Among them, a powerful figure walked out and raised his hand a little. We will give all the inheritances so that the creatures returning from the Forbidden Sea will know that there were 10 heavenly kings in the White Tiger lineage who fought until the last moment. A golden light and shadow sank into Bai Xiaoqing's body. That is the method of the 10 heavenly lords of the White Tiger lineage. However, after these methods entered Bai Xiaoqing's body. However, countless Tao principles roared in Bai Xiaoqing's body, directly destroying these laws. The law of the Lord of Heaven can't stay in her body. The figure was also startled at this moment. I understand, you have received the inheritance beyond the heavenly Lord. He murmured, turned around immediately, and looked at true Lord Xiaoyang in front of the immortal palace. This girl, don't make any mistakes, otherwise, you will be a sinner for all eternity. This is a warning. Upon hearing this, true Lord Xiaoyang bowed deeply and said, Xiaoyang will do his best to protect his growth. However, the figure shook his head and said, you can't protect me, and you're not qualified. Upon hearing this, True Lord Xiaoyang's face instantly became very ugly. As a true king in the immortal realm, they are all immortal beings, and no one dares to disrespect them. But now, he promised to protect the growth of a younger generation, but he was said to be unqualified by the ancient heavenly Lord. How terrifying is this woman? He was shocked. In this life, will my family still have an immortal king? Taiku Tianjun asked. Xiaoyang knows that there is still one. He didn't dare to hide it. Forget it, although the immortal king in this life is incomplete and his power is no longer powerful, those people who have returned from the ancient times, even if they are immortal, can fight against the immortal king in this life. But there is no other choice. Taiku Tianjun seemed a little regretful and said, "Pass my order, and the immortal king must personally protect him. If this woman is immortal, our clan may rise during this calamity." The ancient heavenly lord raised his hand, and a golden decree fell down instantly. Xiaoyang Zhenjun's face was shocked, and he borrowed the decree with both hands. Obviously he is just an immortal king, but why do I feel that his power is comparable to that of the immortal king? He murmured. Tianjun is just a title for the extremely powerful among immortals. The Lord of Heaven, under the immortal king, is also known as the quasi-immortal king. However, at this moment, he felt that this decree, it was actually even scarier than what his grandfather, the immortal king of the generation, had written. Is this the power of the powerful in ancient times? At the same time, what shocked him even more was that Bai Xiaoqing, she actually needs an immortal king to protect her? Even immortals are not qualified. Moreover, there was an obvious feeling of dissatisfaction in the words of the Taiku Tianjun. This woman, how evil has she become? He was shocked and took a deep breath. No matter what, nothing can go wrong with this girl. This is really the future of the White Tiger clan, and it may even be the confidence to fight against the catastrophe. You must know that in order to resist that catastrophe, the White Tiger clan had made plans many years ago. Even his grandfather, the immortal king, recognized others as his master in order to gain protection. While he was thinking about it, Tianjun's figure gradually faded away. It's a pity that I can't fight for another life. The 10 ancient heavenly kings disappeared one after another. All that was left was the faint marks on the stone pillar. In the field, calm gradually returned. Bai Xiaoqing's terrifying bloodline power was slowly withdrawn at this moment. Countless White Tiger clan members are still kneeling on the ground. Tremble, prostrate, and worship. Respected by everyone. Before the immortal palace, many immortal generals also knelt for a long time, unable to get up. Bai Xiaoqing turned around indifferently. She was slender and proud, like a goddess, and glanced at Bai Qi, who was kneeling on the ground. "Elder Bai, now, can my blood allow you to give me justice?" Her words were cold. Bai Qi's face was ashen and his body was trembling. "I was wrong. I was wrong, please forgive me." He kowtowed suddenly and begged. Countless White Tiger clan members were extremely shocked when they saw this. The bloodline is so strong that even a quasi-immortal strong man knelt down and begged for mercy. Bai Xiaofeng was extremely excited when he saw this scene. Only now did he realize that his daughter was actually so strong. Terrible. He couldn't help but think of the senior behind his daughter. What exactly does it exist? Is it an eternal monster that has existed here since ancient times? Otherwise, how could he allow his daughter to evolve a bloodline that would make even the ancient heavenly Lord sigh? Bai Xiaoqing glanced at Bai Qi indifferently, without saying anything more, and turned to True Lord Xiaoyang. "I will give you an explanation." True Lord Xiaoyang spoke directly and waved his hand. Bai Qi suddenly screamed, his memory was being retrieved. In an instant, Xiaoyang Zhenjun already understood the cause and effect. His expression turned cold and he said in a cold voice, "Bai Qi tried to persecute the peerless genius of our clan and should be killed." Your lineage no longer needs to exist in my fairy city. Directly give Bai Qi, and even his family, a death sentence. No. Bai Qi Lao burst into tears and begged so hard that his intestines turned green with regret. If I could do it again. He would never dare to provoke Bai Xiaoqing and hide as far away as possible. But now it's too late. True Lord Xiaoyang waved his hand. Bai Qi screamed and exploded. The soul is destroyed. He died. Seeing this, countless people became silent. Is this the result of offending Bai Xiaoqing? Even the quasi-immortal will be destroyed at any time without any concern. True Lord Xiaoyang looked at Bai Xiaoqing with a solemn expression and said, I will immediately lower the immortal ladder and lead you into the immortal realm. From then on, you will be protected by the whole family. The whole family protects you. Hearing this, everyone in the audience was filled with envy. What a treat! To describe it as soaring into the sky seems shabby. However, Bai Xiaoqing shook her head and said, there is no need to descend the ladder to immortality, because I will not go to the White Tiger clan. I'm just here to seek justice and closure. I don't want my people to be implicated. Everyone was shocked and surprised. Is this rejection? Rejected the kindness of the true Lord? He also refused the training of the entire White Tiger clan? Have you given up on this opportunity? Everyone found it unbelievable. Hearing this, True Lord Xiaoyang's face was shocked. He suddenly became anxious and said, I promise you, if your entire family ascends and enters the immortal realm, they will have a place in my immortal city. He thought Bai Xiaoqing was a member of the clan. Everyone looked more responsible. Just because of one person, the whole family was promoted. This is a branch of the world, something that I dare not even think about. But now it is really happening, and even the true king of the generation actually has a hint of pleading. It's unbelievable. If you say it, the world will really boil, and the fairyland will make big waves. Is there anyone in the world who can make the immortal Lord bow down and ask for his help? However, Bai Xiaoqing shook her head and said, don't come to trouble my people. I don't want to get involved with you anymore. That's it. I'm leaving. She walked down the first secret pool and returned to her father. You can't leave. Next to True Lord Xiaoyang, an immortal general spoke. The Sugang formation has been activated, and no one can leave unless True Lord Xiaoyang unlocks the formation. But Bai Xiaoqing was indifferent. She suddenly took out a feather from her arms. It was a piece of golden feathers, which seemed to carry a terrifying aura, making the entire Sugang domain tremble. In full view of the crowd, Bai Xiaoqing felt a little shy, moved closer to the feather, and suddenly called out. Meow 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 meow. She meowed. This is the secret signal to activate feather. At this moment, on top of the feathers, a terrifying chi machine suddenly crossed the sky led by Sugang. Under the feet of Bai Xiaoqing and others, a void suddenly appeared. Sugang's domain was broken by this feather. Bai Xiaoqing pulled her father, stepped in, turned around and left. Everyone in the audience was dumbfounded. The clansmen of Xuanhuan Zhou have all disappeared. Just like that, he left the Sugang realm. God, how did you do this? The realm of Sugang was created by the immortal king. No one can break it? Could it be that feather, could it be said to be at the immortal king level? How is this possible? Everyone was in an uproar. Entering and exiting Sugang's territory is like a deserted place. This has never happened since ancient times. But now it happened. This woman is bold. What kind of feather is that in her hand, could it be? The magic circle that can cut through Sugang's domain, that chi machine. In front of the immortal palace, a group of powerful immortal generals were stunned. They are stronger, so they can feel the terror of that feather even more. It makes Deluo Jinxian tremble. As for true Lord Xiaoyang, his pupils were staring at the direction Bai Xiaoqing and others were leaving. His heart was more solemn than ever before. The feathers of the true phoenix, feathers with the aura of the immortal king of the true phoenix tribe attached to them. He murmured and said, I found a clue to the true phoenix clan that the master is looking for. Thinking of this, he took a deep breath. With a wave of his hand, in an instant, some kind of secret magic circle began to operate in Su Geng's domain. For the survival of our clan, I will destroy all your memories of this matter. He spoke coldly. Immortal king level Su Geng's formation, countless G machines fell instantly. In an instant, everyone in the tens of thousands of branches had their memories cut off. Including those immortal generals in front of the immortal palace. They and true Lord Xiaoyang were completely worried. Because the things involved this time are too big. If you go out, there will be a storm in the fairyland, and I am afraid that the fairy king level battle will happen again. Everyone's memories had been cut off. He hesitated for a moment, but still activated a chi machine to cut towards him. Only when I see the immortal king of my clan can I remember everything that happened here again. In this way, absolute confidentiality can be guaranteed. He gritted his teeth and risked his life. Be ruthless and even kill yourself. Fantasy, I'm really not an unparalleled expert. Author, Xuanhuan. Chapter 195. And at this moment. Northern Immortal Territory, the border of Northern Frontier. St. Cloud City. People from all the major immortal sects gathered here. Sect Master Ao, are you really prepared to hand over Immortal Lord Breaking Formation to Xuanhuan Immortal City? The purple-shirt Taoist looked reluctant. A few months ago, because the Tianhuan sect spread the news that there was an Immortal Lord breaking the formation song in Xiantian realm, Shenjiayun City formed a coalition to prepare to invade Xiantian realm. However, as soon as they entered Xiantian realm, they saw a group of golden immortals and even Tai golden immortals being massacred outside a small village. It scared the shit out of them. After they came back, they were so angry that they killed everyone in the Tianhuan sect because the other party had suffered too much. Several months have passed. During this period, the Qingyu sect, Taiwa sect, Tingjianj and other forces in the city were all very uncomfortable. If you want to seize the opportunity in the lower realm, you absolutely don't dare. But I can't move, it's too grueling, I can't stand it. Finally, Ao Wushuan, the leader of the Shenjiayun sect, gathered them today. Ao Wushuan just announced something. He reported this matter to Xuanhuan Fairy City, which is closest to Shenjiayun City. This surprised several major sects. That is the Immortal Lord's formation breaking song, which contains the secret of immortality. It's really uncomfortable to have to sit back and watch this opportunity. Tingjian Pavilion Master and others also spoke, feeling a little regretful. Everyone, don't feel sorry. Ao Wushuan, the leader of the Shenjiayun sect, said calmly. With the strength of our sects, there is no way we can obtain this Immortal Lord's formation breaking song. It's better to just give it to Xuanhuan Immortal City. In this way, you can get a favor. Maybe you and I can be given some treasures and so on. When everyone heard this, they fell silent. After all, what Ao Wushuan said was true. They had no power to seize the music score. The envoy from Xuanhuan Fairy City has arrived. At this time, a shout suddenly sounded outside. In an instant, several sect leaders immediately stood up to greet him. I saw a middle-aged man walking in. In his hand, he held a flute calmly, with an arrogant expression and an extraordinary aura. This is a Tai Golden Immortal. Who is Ao Wushuan? The messenger asked indifferently. Ao Wushuan immediately stepped forward, saluted respectfully, that's it? The messenger looked at him lightly and said. Did you send the message that the Immortal Lord breaking formation song appeared in the lower realm you are connected to? Ao Wushuan said. Reporting to the Immortal, This matter is absolutely true. All the major sects in our Xuanhuan city have witnessed it. Among them, the Tianhuan sect tried to take away the music score, but was killed by the music and penetrated the boundary wall, severely damaging the section. After hearing this, the messenger said coldly, "It's impossible for you to have heard the immortal Lord's formation-breaking song in this life. Why do you think that's it?" Xuanhuan and others all looked startled. We think that only the immortal Lord breaking the formation song can have such power." The messenger shook his head and said coldly, "A bunch of trash. If it is really the immortal Lord who broke the formation song, do you think Xuanhuan city can still be saved? That's all. Now that I'm here, I'll go to the lower world to investigate, if you dare to lie." The messenger's words were cold. St. Cloud City has no need to exist anymore. Hearing this, the expressions of Xuanhuan and others changed instantly, becoming extremely ugly. "Start the boundary-breaking formation." The envoy from Xuanhuan Fairy City waved his hand indifferently. Soon, with the combined efforts of several major sects, countless primitive boundary stones were taken out, and the boundary-breaking formation was reopened. Now. Skyline. In the White Tiger mountain range, the Sugang formation suddenly dimmed and dissipated. Immediately afterwards, Bai Xiaoqing, Bai Xiaofeng and others who were sitting in the main hall opened their eyes instantly. "They are back. We're back." Bai Xiaofeng was in a daze, as if he still couldn't believe it. Bai Xiaoqing stood up, stretched and said, "Dad, I have to go back. Master will be worried if he can't see me when he goes back." She smiled sweetly. "Now that the matter has been resolved, I believe that the White Tiger sect will never come to trouble their branch easily." Hearing this, Bai Xiaofeng looked at his daughter with some confusion and said, "Qing your bloodline. It's too powerful, and even the ancient experts should pay attention to it." He knew that his daughter was very strong and had evolved into a pure-blood white tiger before, but now it seemed that his daughter's bloodline was actually a step further on the basis of the pure-blood white tiger. This is too scary. You must protect yourself and never show off your bloodline power easily, otherwise you will be coveted by others. He ordered solemnly. Dad, don't worry, in heaven, no one can hurt my daughter, not even the immortal king." She puffed up her chest proudly and became confident. "Immortal king? This kind of existence can't even make waves in the small courtyard." Hearing this, Bai Xiaofeng's expression became more complicated. He would not have believed it before. But now, after seeing my daughter's current achievements and that feather, she can actually break through the Sugang formation. At least they are Fairy King level feathers. This shows that behind the daughter, there may really be an immortal king. That senior can cultivate you like this, so you have to work hard." He opened his mouth and said, "Go back." Bai Xiaoqing nodded and prepared to leave. "By the way, does that senior like cats very much? We can really send a few more from our clan." At this time, Bai Xiaofeng blushed and said, "Kangli Mountains. The mountains rise and fall like a scroll." Li Fan took Xiling and Nanfan on a mountain peak. The gentle breeze comes, refreshing. After the new rain in the empty mountains, the weather comes late in autumn. The bright moon shines among the pines, and the clear spring flows over the rocks. Li Fan enjoyed the beautiful scenery and couldn't help but sing poems, feeling extremely comfortable. He lay casually on the big stone, listening to the south wind playing the piano, and felt comfortable. Xiling was painting at the moment, and when she heard Li Fan reciting a poem, she closed her eyes to comprehend it, and suddenly raised her brush. Wherever the brush touched, she sketched a vivid picture of fresh scenery. She was trying to use her pen to draw the poem Li Fan recited. Because, she noticed that Li Fan's poems contained paintings. Then, it should be possible to hide poetry in paintings. She is comprehending and is gradually touching the realm above the great Logo Jinxian. The realm of immortality. Next to it, the tune of the south wind suddenly changed. She is getting better and better, and once again attempts the immortal chapter of Emperor Zun's formation-breaking song. Now, above the sky in Xiantian State, a crack suddenly appeared. The next moment, several figures appeared in the sky. Astonishingly, he was the messenger from Xuanhuan Fairy City. Beside him were Xuanhuan and others. The messenger's face changed slightly and said, "There's something weird in this lower realm." He felt the extremely rich fairy spirit. Even, they don't have to pay for Xuanhuan Fairy City. How can this be? You must know that even in the three heavens where there are immortal level experts, the training environment is weaker than in the fairyland. But here. No, why does this world feel like there has been a big change? It's completely different from the last time I came here. It's such a vast realm, it's impossible to detect its boundaries. This has reached the realm of the earth, right? Xuanhuan and others were even more shocked. The last time they came here, this place was just a Xuanzi world. At that time, even when they crossed borders, they were still restricted by the rules of this world, and the world tree was rejecting them. Nowadays, their crossover is very smooth. Entering this world, God's sword did not even appear. They can be completely accommodated in this world. The status of this world has become higher. Xuanhuan murmured. The envoy from Xuanhuan Immortal City frowned even more. "Go, lead the way." He spoke. Xuanhuan immediately took a step forward and led the envoy towards the southern region. Not long after, they appeared in the sky of the southern territory. After arriving here, the spirit of the fairy spirit became even stronger several times. Almost surpassing the fairy city. How is this possible? The messenger's face became even more shocked. Could it be that this world actually surpasses the three heavens? When did such a big thing happen in the lower realm? It seems that it comes at the right time. Such a big matter must be reported to Immortal City immediately. He murmured, took out a communication crystal, and sent the message back to the sect. Then, he began to search in this world. Suddenly, he seemed to feel some kind of fluctuation. Over there. He immediately took a step forward and appeared above the Kangli Mountains. Below, there was a vague sound of a certain kind of piano. The sound of the piano contains the power of killing. Xuanhuan and others all screamed in agony instantly, bleeding from all their orifices. This place is thousands of feet away from the earth below, and the sound of the piano is just faint, but the power contained in it makes them unable to resist at all. Impossible. The Xuanhuan Immortal City envoy's expression also changed drastically, and he hurriedly took out the flute. He began to play. Suddenly, waves of sound emitted from his flute, resisting the ethereal sound of the piano. He tried his best, and his mouth was broken, and his lips were covered with blood. However, the sound of the piano continued to play freely as if it didn't care about him at all. Suddenly, a certain palace tune was played on the piano. Above the sky, the envoy of Xuanhuan Immortal City suddenly let out a scream, and his body split open. No! Run away, run away! He directly crushed a jade talisman. A ball of light enveloped the area, causing him, Xuanhuan and others to disappear from where they were. Soon, their figures appeared in front of the boundary wall. Reappeared, Xuanhuan and others were pale and seriously injured. And the messenger of Xuanhuan Immortal City had cracks all over his body and his aura was almost extinct. "Send me back to the city, quickly." He spoke with difficulty. Xuanhuan and others were extremely frightened. How terrible is the sound of the piano! This is the Tai Golden Immortal from Xuanhuan Fairy City. Just hearing the sound of the piano from a distance almost made him die. Without hesitation, they hurriedly fled into the cracks in the boundary wall. Soon, the cracks in the boundary wall disappeared. Soon, Ao Wushuan and others returned to the fairy land with the envoy of Xuanhuan fairy city who was almost dead. Without hesitation, they activated the teleportation array, and Ao Wushuan escorted the envoy to Xuanhuan fairy city. Shortly after. This is a vast fairy city. The huge city wall is built to look like a harp. It is like a terrifying musical instrument, silent in this world. In the fairy city, the sounds of various musical instruments can be faintly heard. The sweetness of silk and bamboo makes almost everyone who comes close feel a sense of enlightenment on the spot. This is one of the immortal cities in the northern immortal territory. Xuanhuan Fairy City. At this moment, outside the vast Xuanhuan Fairy City, Ao Wushuan's figure finally appeared. He hugged the torn messenger and said, Ao Wushuan of Shenjiayun City, please enter the city. The envoy from your city is dying. There was a hint of trembling in his voice. Fantasy, I'm really not an unparalleled expert. Author, Xuanhuan. Chapter 196. The gate of Xuanhuan Immortal City opened. Ao Wushuan hurriedly led the envoy in. Not long after, he and the envoy arrived in front of a large hall. The envoy was brought into the hall, while Ao Wushuan was left where he was. In the main hall, an old man with white hair looked at the envoy who was sent in, and anger suddenly flashed in his eyes. Who dares to take action against our people in Xuanhuan Fairy City? He slapped the table. On the table at hand, there are more than a dozen flutes of various kinds. That's his magic weapon. Elder Xian, a few days ago, the city received news that there were traces of Immortal Lord breaking formation Chu in a certain lower realm. So I sent Qin Zhen to investigate. Unexpectedly, he was sent back. Judging from the injuries, he should have been injured by some kind of terrible sound wave. A middle-aged man stood up next to him. Hearing this, Elder Xian, who was sitting at the top, suddenly became pale. He waved his hand. A ray of light fell on the messenger Qin Zhen. He sensed it for a moment, and suddenly raised his eyebrows. I was actually hurt by some kind of piano sound. He spoke. Hearing this, everyone in the hall was also surprised. How can there be an immortal lord in the lower realm who breaks the formation song? Impossible, our lineage has no branches in the lower realm. Could it be said that the traitors of our lineage escaped to the lower world in the past? Everyone was very confused. Xiande thought for a moment and immediately injected a burst of spiritual power into Qin Zhen's body. Qin Zhen, who was dying, suddenly started coughing. Tell me, what's going on? Xiande asked in a deep voice. Elder Qi, I went to Shenjiayun City and entered the lower realm, but I found that the fairy spirit in the lower realm is richer than our Xuanhuan Fairy City. Qin Zhen then weakly told everything that happened in the lower world. In the main hall, everyone's expressions changed drastically. A million lower realms, the three heavens are respected, but even the three heavens cannot have such an environment. Could it be that something big happened in the lower world? It's so terrible. A Tai Golden Immortal was injured like this after hearing a few ethereal sounds from hundreds of millions of miles up in the sky. Everyone looked extremely solemn. Is there really such a terrifying sound in the lower world? Xiande thought. There was once a traitor in their lineage who defected from the sect. Over the years, they have been looking for the immortal lord to break the formation song, just to find the traitor. I want to go there myself. Xiande stood up immediately, his expression extremely solemn. Hearing this, everyone in the hall was even more shocked. A small lower realm actually alarmed a Luo Jingxian? Soon. Xuandi personally returned to Shenjiayun City with Ao Wushuan. When many forces in Shenjiayun City knew that an immortal general was actually going to take action in person, they were all shocked. They opened the barrier again. Not long after, Ao Wushuan and Elder Xiandi appeared in the heaven again. This world is indeed very strange. Xiandi's expression changed. The spirit of the fairy spirit is really even richer than that of their Xuanhuan fairy city. You must know that Xuanhuan Immortal City is an immortal level immortal city, famous throughout the northern immortal territory, but this place is just a lower realm. The territory of this world is almost larger than the big world in the earth realm, and it is almost comparable to the heaven realm. He murmured, "Let's go, take me to the place where you heard the sound of the piano." Soon, they arrived above the Kangli Mountains. And at this moment, hundreds of millions of feet high in the sky, on a mountain peak, Zi Ling's painting has been completed. She let out a long breath. That's a landscape painting. It's very quiet, like a poem. Sister Xiling, 1 foot has stepped into immortality. Nanfan felt the change in Xiling's aura. Sure enough, the teacher brought the two of them out because he wanted to give them some guidance. She is now able to control the notes of the immortal chapter with ease. No more getting lost in those notes. Let's go, it's time for us to go back. Li Fan lazily slept on the big stone, got up and stretched, feeling very comfortable. Life should be so leisurely. Even if he is a cultivator, he is not as carefree as himself, right? Li Fan couldn't help but smile. Xiling and Nanfan also put away their things and prepared to go down the mountain. But, at this moment, 2 people suddenly appeared on the mountain peak. A middle-aged man, a silver-haired old man. The old man also had a flute on his waist. It was Xuandi and Xuanhuan. Xuandi glanced at Li Fan and the others indifferently. He roughly got it. That man was a useless person, with no breath in him. And these 2 women have very extraordinary auras. It's not like what cultivators in the lower world can have. His heart suddenly became solemn, and he immediately looked at Nanfan. Not the traitor back then. He murmured in his heart, could he be the traitor's disciple or something? Whoever it is, deserves to die. He immediately said coldly. I dare to ask just now, but you play the piano here? Nanfan said calmly. Yes. Xuandi sneered and said. I'm also good at music. Can you please ask the girl to play a song and compete with me? As he spoke, he calmly took off the iron flute and blew it gently. A powerful sound wave swept towards Li Fan and the others in an instant. This sound wave clearly carries murderous intent. Excessive. Zi Ling waved the paintbrush in her hand, and the sound wave was directly scattered. Nanfang stopped Zi Ling, turned back to look at Li Fan, and said. Teacher. She is asking. Li Fan smiled and said. The old gentleman is not an expert at playing the flute, but since he wants to compete, you can help him. As soon as he heard the sound of Xuandi, he could tell that Xuandi had probably been obsessed with the flute for many years. But it's a pity that I haven't even touched the edge of the music. Hearing this, Nanfan immediately took off the guqin from his back and put it on his lap. Please. Nanfan spoke calmly. The iron flute immediately started playing again. The sound of his flute is like the sound of the wind and the roar of cranes, with the force of an army of grass and trees, majestic, deep and very powerful. As soon as the flute sound came out, Xuanhuan next to him hurriedly backed away, his whole body was trembling. Terrible. However, the south wind is like a harp. The notes of the piano flow out one by one. In an instant, the old man's terrifying sound waves were retreating steadily. Hiss. Xuandi took a breath of air. His white hair danced wildly, and he was close to full strength in an instant, and all his Deluo Jinxian level cultivation burst out. Everything, but of no use. Nanfan's face was calm, and he suddenly struck a note that sounded like an iron cavalry. Ah! Xuandi suddenly let out a scream. As soon as the note came out, his jade flute exploded. He even took a few steps back and spat out a mouthful of blood. His face was pale and extremely ugly. He is seriously injured. No. Impossible, How could it really be the immortal Lord breaking formation song? There was a hint of panic on his old face. At this moment, he turned around and ran away without stopping. He was afraid that the other party would kill and silence him. Xuanhuan hurriedly followed him and fled. But behind, Nanfan just calmly put away his piano. She hasn't even struck a note in the immortal chapter yet. This old gentleman is so fierce. At this time, Li Fan smiled. The other party is really strong, he can actually blow up the jade flute. This is the first time he has seen such a cruel person. It's just that the old man is so competitive that he vomited blood on the spot and turned around to leave just because his music was not as good as Nanfan's. So narrow-minded. He shook his head and said immediately, "Let's go." Not long after, Li Fan and 3 others had returned to the small courtyard. As soon as he returned to the small courtyard, Xiaobai jumped into Li Fan's arms and called out affectionately, "Are you hungry?" Li Fan rubbed Xiaobai's belly and said, "Let's make dinner." And at this moment, in the fairyland, the gate of Xuanhuan Fairy City. Xuanhuan of Shenzhen City, please enter the city. The elder of Gishan is dying. Xuanhuan's trembling voice sounded again. On the wall of Xuanhuan Immortal City, the people guarding the city were all deceived. Another one dying? Or an elder? How come this Xuanhuan looks like a disaster star? The city gate hurriedly opened. When Elder Suandi was sent into the city, Xuanhuan Immortal City was instantly shaken. Before, it was just a small Tai Golden Immortal, so there was no reaction at all. But now, a Deluo Jinxian is seriously injured and nearly dead? The immortal generals in the city were all alarmed. In an instant, everyone gathered in the main hall. What's going on? How could Taoist brother Suandi be so seriously injured? Incredible, it looks like it was injured by the sound of the piano. I heard that Taoist brother Suandi is just a surveyor of the lower realm. How could he return with serious injuries? Everyone was shocked when they saw the unconscious Xian Di. At the same time, they used various drugs, but they could not revive Xian Di. Report to the immortal lord immediately. Finally, an immortal general spoke solemnly. Everyone nodded. Not long after, the immortal lord has arrived. There was a shout from outside the hall. An immortal aura came calmly in an instant. A woman in a yellow dress walked into the hall. She was graceful, carrying a lyre on her back, and wearing a veil on her face. Everyone in the hall saluted her in unison. Meet the immortal lord. They all spoke in unison. This woman is the owner of Xuanhuan Immortal City, Xuanhuan Immortal Lord. Immortal Xuanhuan's eyes, like autumn water, glanced at the field, and finally landed on Elder Suandi. She just glanced at it, and ripples suddenly appeared in her beautiful eyes. This is. She stepped forward to check his injuries. How is this possible? How could this song appear in the lower world? She lost her voice and spoke. Immortal Lord Xuanhuan's gaffe shocked many immortal generals. What piece of music could shock the immortal lord so much? Xianjun, this is. An immortal general asked doubtfully. Block all messages immediately. Immortal Lord Xuanhuan spoke directly and said. This matter must not be known to other forces, otherwise, there may be a big disaster. Hearing this, many immortal generals were shocked. Is the situation so serious? You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Fantasy, I'm really not an unparalleled expert. Author, Xuanhuan. Chapter 197. After a long time, many immortal generals in Xuanhuan Fairy City have begun to block the news. In a secret palace, there was only immortal Xuanhuan, looking at the unconscious Suandi with a solemn expression. Not long after, an old woman walked out slowly. The old woman's body was a bit stooped and her face was full of wrinkles, but she still carried a lyre on her back. "Disciple, what happened? Why did it disturb my practice?" The old woman's hoarse voice sounded. "She is the master of immortal Lord Xuanhuan. Holy Qin Tianjun. Master. I may have discovered traces of the immortal king's formation-breaking song." Immortal Lord Xuanhuan spoke word by word, very solemnly. Hearing this, Shenkan Tianjun's expression suddenly changed and he was shocked. "What?" The look on her old face was extremely solemn, and she said, "Where is it?" Immortal Xuanhuan pointed at Suandi who was in a coma. Holy Qin Tianjun suddenly had a thought. Scanned. My God, this kind of musical rules is almost perfect. Is it really the immortal king's formation-breaking song? Shenkan Tianjun is almost unbelievable. In the past, our ancestor has reached the top of the immortal way and crossed the forbidden sea in pursuit of the holy way. Before leaving, he left a secret book to your senior sister. In the end, your senior sister, that bitch, actually escaped from the section. She really deserves to be killed. You and me, the master and the disciple, have worked hard, but in the end we can only complete a completely different immortal king's formation-breaking song, which only has less than 1% of the power of the immortal king's formation-breaking song." Holy Qin Tianjun murmured word by word, with hatred in his eyes. Xuanhuan Fairy City was originally just a city in the Holy Sound Fairy Kingdom. The Holy Sound Immortal Kingdom was originally one of the 5 Immortal King-level forces in the northern border of the Northern Immortal Territory. The Immortal King Shenjian once dominated the entire Northern Immortal Territory and was called the King of Heaven. When he was still there, the Shenjian Fairy Kingdom was at its peak and unparalleled. But nearly a million years ago, in order to pursue a realm above immortality, the Holy Sound Immortal King came to the Southern Immortal Territory and crossed the Forbidden Sea from the Southern Immortal Territory. There was no news of his departure. Before he left, he only left a secret book to Immortal Tianyan, the senior sister of Immortal Xuanhuan. Later, Immortal King Shenjian did not return for a long time, and even the soul lamp left behind in the sect was in the state of light and death. The sects were panicked, thinking that Immortal King Shenjian might have died. When the news came out, the huge fairy kingdom collapsed and was eaten away by other surrounding fairy kingdoms. As the only heavenly lord of the immortal kingdom at that time, Shenkan Tianjun not only failed to resist the invasion of other immortal kingdoms, but took this opportunity to coerce Tianyan Immortal and asked her to hand over the secret book. But what Immortal Tianyan gave was just a blank book. This made Heavenly Lord Shenkan extremely angry. She ordered Immortal Tianyan to be imprisoned and her cultivation was abolished. However, Immortal Tianyan later escaped. For so many years, they, Xuanhuan Immortal City, have been tracking the traces of Tianyan Immortal Lord. Did God finally open his eyes and see me calling out day and night? Lord Shenkan murmured, looked at Lord Xuanhuan, and said. Who was he hurt by? Xuanhuan Xianjun said. A place in the lower realm, injured by a young woman. Hearing this, Shenkan Tianjun was even more shocked, the lower realm. Immortal Lord Xuanhuan gritted his teeth and said bitterly. Master, I suspect that someone in the lower realm. It's senior sister. A burst of hatred instantly burst out from the old eyes of Shenkan Tianjun, saying. That bitch. She gritted her teeth, it must be her. In the past, I was obviously the king of heaven, but when the ancestor left, he left the inheritance to her. I hate it. I hate it. This time, I want her soul to be shattered, I want her to die without a burial place. Anger and jealousy made her old face become even more ugly. Master, judging from Suandi's injuries, Tianyan should not have recovered to the immortal state yet. This is our chance. Xuanyan's eyes also flashed with a sinister look. Start preparing for the lower world. You go there yourself. This time, she must be exterminated. Shenkan Tianjun spoke in a cold voice, paused for a moment, and then continued, I heard that Xiaoyang Zhenjun of the White Tiger Immortal Kingdom has returned to the Immortal Kingdom. Immortal Lord Xuanhuan nodded immediately and said, yes, I heard that he just hosted the White Tiger clan's True Lord Blessing Conference. Lord Shenkan nodded and said, before you deal with that bitch, follow me to the White Tiger Fairy Kingdom and pay a visit to the True Lord Xiaoyang. Don't forget that there is an engagement between you and him. Now, the immortal catastrophe is very likely to come, and we must hold on to the big tree of the White Tiger Fairy Kingdom. After the disappearance of the Shenjian Immortal King, the Immortal Kingdom was almost completely destroyed. In order to survive, Shenkan Tianjun did not hesitate to marry the White Tiger Fairy Kingdom at all costs, and arranged a marriage between Xuanhuan Fairy Lord and Xiaoyang Zhenjun of the White Tiger Fairy Kingdom. However, Xiaoyang Zhenjun has been practicing outside and has not held a wedding. Now that Xiaoyang Zhenjun has returned to the fairyland, Shenkan Tianjun can no longer wait, because she is worried about the legendary immortal catastrophe. Immortal Lord Xuanhuan nodded and said, okay. But Master, according to the news, many forces in the northern immortal territory have recently received contacts from the lower world. It is claimed that in the lower world, a big world that transcends and approaches the three heavens has appeared. Moreover, the fairy spirit there is very strong, even more than many places in the fairyland. Now, many forces can no longer hold back and want to explore the lower world. After all, if there is such a world with abundant immortal spiritual energy, all major forces will not let it go. And, that bitch should be in this world now. Hearing this, the old woman said coldly, with the temperament of those immortal cities, they will probably only massacre that area. If that bitch was killed, a lot of things would be saved. Now, in the northern immortal domain, many forces are ready to make a move. Today, many forces have received news from the lower realm. A new big world has appeared. Lanming Fairy City. Immortal Lord, the news from our clan is absolutely correct. This is a great opportunity to open up new territories and expand our territory. We must not miss it. An immortal general is reporting to an immortal king with a powerful aura. This immortal general, named Chen Ao, is the ancestor of the Chen dynasty in the original Ming realm. Immortal Lord Lan Ming thought for a while and said, Ken, go ahead and build a fairy city in this world, that's fine. Hearing this, Chen Ao suddenly became overjoyed. He left directly. Haha, a new big world, it's kind of interesting. Lighting Fairy City, Lighting Fairy Lord's whole body seemed to be covered with golden sunshine. At this moment, he smiled slightly and said, Guanjiao, Guangchen, you two have worked hard to establish our own power. In front of him, the two immortal generals immediately followed his orders and left. Many forces are taking action. After all, in the immortal realm, competition among the major immortal kingdoms and immortal cities is very fierce. Although the immortal realm is vast and boundless, there are also as many cultivators as the sea and limited resources. It is so rare to have a lower realm where the cultivation environment is comparable to that of the immortal realm. No fairy city can let go of such resources. Soon, there were more than a dozen fairy cities in the northern border area of the northern immortal territory, and they began to send people down to the lower realm. They are all immortal generals. A few days later, skyline. Cracks in the boundary wall suddenly appeared. From the other world, golden rays of light extend out, like a fairy bridge. On those bridges, figures walked out one after another. They are all powerful men from the immortal realm. Qingzhou. Located in Fuzhou. The same place and state. Daimingzhou. There are strong men appearing in the sky in many states. Haha, this realm is indeed not simple. It is second only to the heaven. This will be our territory. All the people in this world, please come and bow down quickly. From today on, you will be the people of our sex immortal city. As soon as these visitors from the fairyland appeared, they issued orders. In an instant, there was a huge earthquake in every state in the heaven. Many fairies will appear in the states. I am Chen Ao, the ancestor of the Chen dynasty. Where are my descendants? I have always paid my respects to you. In Daimingzhou, Chen Ao, the immortal general of Lanming Immortal City, appeared on this land and shouted loudly. In an instant, there was a huge earthquake in Mingzhou. In a dynasty, countless people flew out, with tears in their eyes. Ancestor Chen Qing, the current emperor of the Chen dynasty, directly led his clan members and hurried there, and then they all knelt down. Ancestor, you are finally here. Our Chen dynasty was almost destroyed. The earthly Ming realm has been absorbed by the heaven realm and has become a state in the heaven realm. They all spoke. Humph, don't worry. From today on, Daimingzhou will be built into a fairy city, and you guys will be extremely wealthy and glorious. Chen Ao is aloof, enjoying the obeisance of future generations. Ancestor, now in the world of heaven, there is a co-owner. At this time, Chen Qing bit the bullet and said, there is a terrifying being in Xiantian province, who is revered as the Lord of Heaven. If he occupies Mingzhou and builds a fairy city, it may lead to war. There was a hint of fear in his words. Hearing this, Chen Ao suddenly became angry and said, what? Co-Lord of Heaven? What a courageous person, what an arrogant ant. I will come to Xiantian state and slaughter everything. In this world, ants from the lower world are not qualified to get involved. Chen Ao waved his hand, and in an instant, everyone in Lanmingxian city disappeared from where they were. Ancestor. Chen Qing's expression changed greatly. It was over. He hadn't told his ancestor yet that the existence of Xiantian province was most likely immortal. Same. At this moment, many of the forces from the immortal realm that have descended on the heaven realm have learned of the existence of the Lord of the heaven realm. This world dares to call itself the heaven realm, which is already a taboo. There are still people who dare to call themselves the Lord of the heaven realm. They should be killed. It seems that before occupying this world, we have to clean up some ants in this world. Haha, let's go and destroy this so-called Lord of Heaven. It just so happens that Xiantian Prefecture is said to be the center of the entire world and can be called a blessed place. Many forces from the immortal realm gathered towards Xiantian state in an instant. And at this moment, Xuanhuan. Leader, something bad is happening. Messengers from all sides kept coming to report. The people from the immortal realm have arrived in Tongzhou, and are heading towards Xiantian state now. The envoy from Lanming Immortal City from Immortal Domain has arrived in Daiming Prefecture, which is only 20 states away from Xiantian Prefecture. The strong men of Guangzhou Immortal City are making a war cry, saying they want to destroy the Lord of Heaven. Urgent reports come one after another. Everyone in the Xiantian Alliance looked heavy. The immortal realm has finally discovered the changes in this world. Nowadays, in the heaven realm, it is too conspicuous among millions of lower realms and cannot be hidden. Hey, it is impossible for the immortal realm to let go of such a piece of fat. Are we going to become emperors of the immortal realm? Everyone looked heavy. In fact, since the fusion of all realms, everyone in the Xiantian Alliance has been mentally prepared. Such a big thing cannot be hidden for a long time, and it will inevitably attract the covetousness of the immortal realm. Holy Lord Yuan Yang looked at Huo Linger and said, Leader, should we fight, or should we let the immortal realm establish a place of inheritance and live in peace with it? He asked. Huo Linger was silent for a moment and said, if people from the immortal realm wish to respect the Lord of the heaven realm and coexist peacefully with the heaven realm, then they are allowed to establish an inheritance. If the immortal realm wants to fight, then we have no choice but to fight. She speaks firmly. Gather the heavenly soldiers and generals and prepare for battle. Suddenly, Xiantian alliance was shocked. All the heavenly soldiers and generals have gathered together. Soon. Chen Aoxian of Lanming Immortal City is about to arrive. People of Xiantian State, please come and surrender. The two immortals Guanzhou and Guangshen are coming to the immortal city of light. The Lord of this world, come and pay homage. Yunfan Immortal City Zhang Yongxian is coming. Loud voices sounded in Xiantian Prefecture. Fantasy, I'm really not an unparalleled expert. Author, Xuanhuan. Chapter 198. The powerful men from all the major forces in the immortal domain have arrived in Xiantian State. This place is worthy of being the center of heaven. The fairy spiritual energy is actually stronger than in the fairy city. We're going to decide this place. Establish a legacy here, and it's even possible to rebuild an immortal fairy city. Arriving here, people from almost all the forces were solemn and surprised. In the fairyland, this kind of place has long been occupied by people. But here, it is a virgin land. All they have to do is simply deal with some of the indigenous people here. Immediately, groups of troops rushed towards the southern territory, Xiantian Alliance. Soon, outside the Taiyan Holy Land in the southern territory, the mountain protecting formation was opened. People from all the major forces in the immortal realm gathered here. Who calls the shots here? The Guanzhou Immortal General of Guangzhou Immortal City takes one step forward, and the cultivation of Deluo Jingxian is released. Why don't you come and see me quickly? In Yunfan Fairy City, the Fairy General Zhang Yun is aloof and extremely unruly. Chen Ao from Lanming Fairy City even appeared and said coldly, "My inheritance is in this world, and this world should belong to our Lanming Fairy City." There were at least a dozen troops in the sky. They are all from the immortal city in the immortal realm. Everyone in the Xiantian Alliance looked solemn. There are more than a dozen Deluo Jingxian on the other side, and the strength of today's heavenly soldiers and generals is far from being able to compete with them. Huo Linger and others had already walked out at this moment. This is the Xiantian Alliance, and you are guests. Why are you so high up and looking down on your master? Holy Lord Yuan Yang asked directly. Hearing this, the group of people in the immortal realm in the sky were all furious. Looking for death. An immortal general grabbed hold of Holy Lord Yuan Yang. Nowadays, Holy Lord Yuan Yang's cultivation level is far from being able to compete with Deluo Golden Immortal at the peak level of Tai Golden Immortal. However, behind him, Mu Jianing had already stepped forward and blocked the attack with a wave of his hand. Mu Jianing has also entered the Deluo Golden Immortal realm. Seeing this, the expressions of everyone in the immortal realm changed. I didn't expect that in this small lower realm, there is actually Deluo Jingxian. Haha, how dare you be so arrogant? Can one have a Deluo Golden Immortal and compete with the immortal realm? Kill this woman and make this world despair. Everyone spoke coldly. You want to kill us? Mu Jianing questioned and said. If you are willing to live in peace and respect the Lord of Heaven together, we may be able to allow you to establish a legacy in heaven. Hearing this, the immortal generals in the sky all laughed. Ha ha ha. Ridiculous. Live in peace and respect the Lord of Heaven? Are you talking nonsense? Their words were cold. So, you guys want a fight? Huo Linger also stepped forward and stood side by side with Mu Jianing. A battle. The Guanzhou Immortal General of Guangming Immortal City said coldly. You are wrong, this is a massacre, not a battle. He suddenly struck out with a palm towards the entire Taiyan Holy Land. He intends to exterminate this world. In that case, let's fight. Huo Linger shouted angrily. Suddenly, she took a step forward and struck with a palm. Bang! The fairy spiritual power exploded. The brilliant immortal general was immediately shaken back dozens of miles. How is it possible? This woman can actually fight against a veteran immortal general. Everyone was surprised. Everyone, if you don't take it seriously, we will let these natives run rampant. Guangchen, another immortal general from Guangzhou Immortal City, immediately spoke and said, "Kill." In an instant, many immortal generals in the field took action. 13 immortal generals. It's too much. Mu Jianing also gave a sweet shout, and she and Huo Linger immediately rushed into the sky side by side. In addition, in the Tianzhong Hall, two powerful men who had just broken through to the realm of De Luo Jingxian stood up and fought alongside them. Yu breaks the mountain, Dugu sinks into the land. 4 verses 13. An instant melee broke out in the sky. The immortal spiritual power exploded, and countless mountains were shattered, the earth cracked, and the void trembled. There was actually no clear winner. The main thing is that Huo Linger and Mu Jianing are so strong that one person can deal with several of them. At the same time, Yu Pashan once received the immortal level inheritance from the immortal Dao Palace. He has so many techniques that in a single fight, he can almost always overpower the opponent's immortal generals. Dugu Shenlu was even more powerful with his sword, and his killing power was so fierce that almost no one dared to confront him head-on. Everyone, don't hold back, these 4 people are a little weird. Chen Ao of Lanming Immortal City spoke solemnly at this moment, and he suddenly took out a large seal from his arms. Quasi-sacred weapon. Someone exclaimed. A quasi-sacred weapon, a quasi-immortal weapon. Immortality has many titles in the immortal realm, such as Immortal, Immortal Lord, True Lord, etc., and their treasures are often called immortal artifacts, holy artifacts, etc. Generally speaking, quasi-sacred weapons are given to close followers by the immortal Lord. Unless you encounter an immortal level powerhouse, a powerful immortal general armed with a quasi-sacred weapon is invincible. Haha, how can you make Lanming Immortal City more beautiful than before? At this moment, the light shining on the fairy city also took out a mirror in his hand. The golden light in the mirror was obviously a quasi-sacred weapon. Does our Yunfan Immortal City lack quasi-sacred weapons? Zhang Yun of Yunfan Immortal City also spoke. In an instant, there were 6 or 7 more quasi-sacred weapons in the field. They all aimed at the 4 people from Xiantian province. In an instant, the terrifying quasi-sacred weapon fluctuated and killed everyone. The power is overwhelming. However, Huo Linger and Mu Jianing suddenly took off their hairpins together. With the hairpin in hand, they held the hairpin and crossed it. In an instant, the vacuum was filled. Bang! Chen Ao's quasi-sacred weapon exploded directly. No. Guangshen's expression changed drastically, and the mirror in his hand was shattered. Bang bang bang. 7 or 8 quasi-sacred weapons were all destroyed at this moment. Puff. Many immortal generals holding quasi-sacred weapons were seriously injured. No. Impossible, how can you have a holy weapon in your hands? Chen Ao's eyes were extremely frightened, and his face turned pale. Could it be said that there is an immortal strongman here? It's impossible. We start from the 3 heavens. There are no existences of this level in other lower realms. All of them were seriously injured and spoke reluctantly. You guys, if you don't respect the Lord of Heaven, you should die. Huo Linger spoke indifferently and made another stroke casually. No. These immortal generals all screamed in agony. One after another, the bodies exploded into blood mist. Total destruction. 13 immortal generals were all dead. Seeing this scene, the expressions of the people in the immortal realm who followed them changed drastically. It's over. The immortal generals are all dead. In an instant, they turned around and ran away, not daring to stay at all. There is only one person left in each force. Huo Linger spoke indifferently. Since the other party comes with the intention of massacring the heaven, she will not show mercy. Kill! Kill! Holy Lord Yuan Yang and others immediately led the Tianjiangtang to hunt down these visitors from the immortal realm. This is a massacre. The people in the immortal realm who lost the support of the immortal general had no intention of fighting at all. Soon, the harvest of life was completed. Each force only allowed 1 or 2 people to escape. Because Huolinger was going to let them bring the news back to the fairyland. Let the immortal realm know that the heaven realm cannot be insulted or touched. This is a demonstration to the fairyland. 2 leaders, we have won this battle. Holy Lord Yuanyang said. However, I'm afraid there will be a huge earthquake in the immortal realm next, and immortal figures may come in person. When everyone heard this, they all looked worried. Today's heavenly soldiers and generals are no longer afraid of Deluo Jinxian. However, immortality is still the mountain that they look up to. Even if Huolinger and others were holding holy weapons, facing such existence, there was absolutely no hope of victory. We will report it to the Lord of Heaven immediately. Huolinger spoke directly. When it comes to immortality, it's beyond the limit of what they can handle. Let's go right now. Mu Jianing also said. Immediately, they set off directly. Fairyland. Help, help. Figures of extremely embarrassed figures crawled out from the 2 realms, and they were all extremely miserable. Immortal Lord, something bad has happened. General Chen Aoxian has been destroyed, and all the people sent by the major immortal cities are dead. A survivor ran to the foot of Lanmingxian city and cried bitterly. In an instant, Lanmingxian city was violently shaken. It's over. The 2 immortal generals Guanzhou and Guangshen, their quasi-sacred weapons collapsed, and they themselves were even killed. Guangzhou Fairy City got the news, and the whole city was shocked. In an instant, all the dozens of fairy cities that participated were in an uproar this time. After the news came out, it attracted the attention of all forces in the northern border of the northern immortal territory. Fantasy, I'm really not an unparalleled expert. Author, Xuanhuan. Chapter 199. In the northern immortal territory, there was a huge earthquake in the northern border. What? Chen Ao actually died in the lower realm. In Lanming Immortal City, when the news of Chen Ao's death came, there were angry sounds in the Immortal Palace. All the great immortal generals stood in the Immortal Palace with solemn expressions and did not dare to speak. Yes, Immortal Lord, we didn't expect that there would be Deluo Jinxian in the lower realm, and what we didn't expect was that those people would actually have sacred weapons in their hands. The survivors who escaped were still frightened and said, all of us are dead, and the troops sent by the other 11 immortal cities have also been slaughtered. Hearing this, the expressions of all the great immortal generals changed. In the lower realm, Deluo Jinxian actually appears? A sacred weapon actually appeared? How can this be? Could it be that the emergence of this world is related to the people in the immortal realm, or the 3 heavens? Unless someone in the immortal realm is pushing it, maybe people from the 3 heavens are planning it, otherwise it's impossible. It's not simple. This world is not simple. Everyone spoke. Looking up, immortal Lord Lanming only had a gloomy look in his eyes. You slaughtered my generals and you still dare to demonstrate against me. Do you really think that the immortal Lord can be humiliated? Lanmingxian will stand up directly, and a terrifying immortal power will be emitted. I will personally come to this world and wipe out all living creatures. He sounded the clarion call for conquest. In an instant, the entire Lanming immortal city was shaken by a huge earthquake. Illuminated Fairy City. How dare a group of ants attack a giant dragon? Immortal Lord Guangming's whole person seemed to be enveloped in the sun, and his angry words caused the temperature of the entire fairy city to increase suddenly. I will go there personally, and no matter who it is, you will have to pay the price. Yunfan Immortal City, Yunfan Immortal Lord. 7 Rainbow Immortal City, 7 Rainbow Immortal Lord. For a time, the immortals in all the major immortal cities that had almost received the news made angry war sounds. Because, to the immortal, it is nothing more than a demonstration. Kill their generals and leave them alive to bring news back to the fairyland. This is an insult that the immortal cannot bear. In an instant, there was a huge earthquake in the northern border of the immortal domain, and news that a dozen immortal lords were about to take action spread quickly. And at this moment, a vast country. There are countless giant cities and a territory of hundreds of millions of miles. This is the White Tiger Immortal Kingdom. At this moment, in a huge city in the White Tiger Immortal Kingdom. Please report to the true Lord of Xiaoyang, Lord Shenkan Tianjun, and bring your beloved disciple to ask for an audience. Lord Shenkan Tianjun spoke with a kind face. The immortal general in front of the palace solemnly invited them into the hall, served them spiritual tea, and then went to inform true Lord Xiaoyang. The White Tiger Immortal Kingdom is really becoming more and more powerful, Xuanhuan, you must seize the opportunity this time. Lord Shenkan sighed and said, as long as you can get married, when the great catastrophe of immortality comes, maybe you can become a teacher and have some influence to avoid this catastrophe. Her heart became more urgent. Xuanhuan Tianjun also nodded. She was still very confident. After all, her beauty was known to the whole world in the entire northern immortal territory. The real king has arrived. At this time, a voice came from outside. The two of them turned around and saw that true Lord Xiaoyang had walked in. I haven't seen you for so many years, but the Lord is still as charming as ever. True Lord Xiaoyang walked in, smiled slightly, looked at immortal Lord Xuanhuan, and said, Miss Xuanhuan is becoming more and more beautiful. Lord Shenkan smiled warmly and said, You're welcome, true Lord. I'm glad to hear that true Lord is in charge of the White Tiger Clan's blessing conference in this world. I guess there must be a lot of geniuses added to the clan, right? She said politely. However, upon hearing this, true Lord Xiaoyang's expression froze, and his face looked a little strange. What's wrong, Zhenjun? Immortal Lord Xuanhuan immediately asked. No. Me, I just seem to have lost my memory. True Lord Xiaoyang looked embarrassed. Hearing this, both Shenkan Tianjun and Xuanhuan Xianjun had strange expressions. Amnesia. How could a generation of immortals lose their memory? Could it be that the other party wants to use this as an excuse to stall the engagement? Lord Shenkan became nervous and immediately said. To be honest with you, Zhenjun, I came here because I want to set a wedding date with Zhenjun. She paid attention to true Lord Xiaoyang's expression. But fortunately, true Lord Xiaoyang did not forget this matter. He immediately smiled and said. How about we hold the engagement again after I report it to our ancestor? Hearing this, both Shenkan Tianjun and Xuanhuan Immortal were overjoyed. This is the best. He should let his old man know about such a happy event. Holy Qin Tianjun spoke repeatedly. True Lord Xiaoyang is said to be one of the White Tiger Immortal King's favorite descendants. Maybe when the time comes, the White Tiger Immortal King will come to attend the wedding in person. It would be great. Their Xuanhuan Fairy City will no longer have any fear, and at the same time, she will also have a shelter. When will the true king get up? Lord Shenkan couldn't wait any longer. True Lord Xiaoyang smiled and said, That's enough today. Master Shenkan Tianjun was even more delighted. Report. At this time, an urgent voice sounded, and an immortal ran quickly from outside and said. True Lord Qi, we have just received news that 11 immortal lords including Immortal Lord Lanming, Immortal Lord Guangming, and Immortal Lord Yunfan are about to enter the lower realm. Hearing this, the faces of Shenkan Tianjun and Xuanhuan Immortal suddenly changed. What did they all think of? Xiaoyang Zhenjun suddenly frowned and said, What's the matter? The Immortal General said, It is said that a fusion of all realms occurred in the lower realm, forming a new big world called Heaven. The immortal spiritual energy in the Heaven realm is so rich that several immortal lords wanted to occupy it and sent out immortal generals, but all of them died in the Heaven realm. Therefore, the 11 immortal lords were furious and determined to personally massacre the heaven realm. Hearing this, true Lord Xuanhuan suddenly felt a sense of urgency in his heart, but he didn't know why. I see. He had no choice but to speak. The immortal will retreat. True Lord, in that case, let's take our leave first. Lord Shenkin stood up immediately. The 11 immortal lords are going down to the lower realm. Xuanhuan Immortal City cannot ignore such a big event. Especially, there are traitors of their lineage in the lower world. Good. True Lord Xuanhuan did not keep them either. When going out, Immortal Lord Xuanhuan whispered. Husband, please set the wedding date as soon as possible. After Shenkin Tianjun and others left, Xiaoyang Zhenjun immediately set off and left the White Tiger Fairy Kingdom. He left quickly. After a long time, he finally entered a mysterious world. All kinds of rich Tao rhymes came to my face, and the Tao fell down one by one. Compared to the Master's territory, the fairyland is really like a barren land. Returning to this area, true Lord Xuanhuan couldn't help but sigh. The external Tao is incomplete and the immortal Yunnan is incomplete, but here, everything is almost complete, and it can be called a perfect place. The Master can also be called a perfect person. This kind of perfection does not refer to perfection in character, appearance, etc., but, the Master's way of practice is perfect, and his whole body is flawless. No wonder his grandfather, a majestic and immortal king, came here to serve. He had a lot of thoughts in his mind, and after a while, he finally arrived in front of the fairy palace. The person looking at the door today happens to be my grandfather. Because the Master has an order to look at the gate as if you are looking at the gate, the White Tiger Immortal King transformed into his true form today, which is a huge white tiger. Xiaoyang, are you back? The old white tiger spoke with a deep and old voice. Seeing his grandfather, true Lord Xiaoyang suddenly looked shocked, and in an instant, countless memories came flooding back. He used the Sugeng formation to block some of his memories in the Sugeng domain. The seal can only be released when you see your grandfather. Now, he remembered it all. The shocking bloodline that broke through 9 stone pillars. Let the ancient heavenly king send down the descendants of the decree. By Xiaoqing. He took a sudden breath of air and said, Grandfather, our family has a peerless genius. This is the decree given to you by the ancient heavenly king Ming Xiaoyang in the Sugeng domain. He immediately took out a golden decree from his body. The eyes of the White Tiger Immortal King flashed with unprecedented solemnity, and he paused and said, The decree of the ancient heavenly lord? Someone walked to the first secret pool. He was extremely shocked. As the Immortal King, he knows all the secrets of the clan. What is contained in the first secret pool is the way of the ancient powerful men. And on that stone pillar, there are even the imprints of the top 10 powerful men from ancient times. Even the White Tiger Immortal King failed to enter the first secret pool in the past, but only entered the second secret pool. However, because he was the only inheritor in the world, he still got some things in the first secret pool. It was those things that allowed him to grow into an immortal king. Now, someone can actually enter the first secret pool. And let the ancient heavenly king issue decrees. He stretched out his tiger claws and took the decree. The immortal king must personally protect this female guardian, and cannot allow the slightest mistake. This is the order of the 10 ancient heavenly kings. Even though he is the White Tiger Immortal King, he can't help but tremble a little at this moment. The 10 ancient heavenly kings, the invincible distant ancestors of the White Tiger clan. In this era, he became the immortal king, but he knew very well that compared with the ancient powerful men, he was nothing. Ancestor, that by Xiaoking's bloodline is too rare. She is most likely to be the one to be robbed. We must find her and protect her. True Lord Xiaoyang spoke solemnly, suddenly remembered something, slapped his forehead and said. By the way, in Bai Xiaoking's hand, she still still holds the true phoenix feather. Hearing this, the white tiger immortal king was shocked and lost his voice. What? No. This matter must be reported to the master immediately. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Fantasy, I'm really not an unparalleled expert. Author, Xuanhuan. Chapter 200. Shortly after. In the mysterious fairy palace. A girl in a white dress was holding a few golden corns and feeding them to the karma bird on the bird stand. Her face was calm, as if nothing in the world was enough to make her a little disturbed. Wang Cai wants to see the master. At this time, the words of the white tiger immortal king sounded outside. Come in. The girl in the white dress spoke calmly. The white tiger immortal king has turned into a human form with gray hair. He said respectfully. Master, there are two things to report for prosperity. First, a descendant with the blood of the ultimate ancestor appeared in our clan, which inspired the imprint left by the 10 ancient heavenly kings of our clan. The ancient heavenly kings issued a decree that Wang Ke must find this descendant and serve as its protector. Facing this girl, the white tiger immortal king did not dare to hide anything, and respected her like a god. Even the big secrets related to the success or failure of their family, he told them all. The girl in the white dress smiled and said, the ultimate ancestral blood. Impossible, unless you are born in my palace. It is impossible to evolve the perfect bloodline of your ancestors. I am not interested in this matter. However, you cannot disobey your ancestral orders. For the sake of your diligent service, I allow you to create a clone to protect your descendants. Hearing this, the white tiger immortal king was overjoyed. He was extremely grateful and continued. Master, there is another thing. The true Phoenix clan you are looking for, has been found. Hearing this, the girl in the white dress suddenly stopped feeding, turned around and said, tell me and listen. The white tiger immortal king said respectfully. This matter is still related to my descendant. She held a true phoenix feather in her palm and broke through my clan's Sugang formation. In comparison, she must know the whereabouts of the true phoenix clan. Hearing this, the girl in the white dress couldn't help but raise her eyebrows. She was extremely beautiful and said, so, it's a bit interesting, I suddenly became interested in your descendant. Ask your grandson Bai Xiaoyang to take another trip and bring her here. She spoke. Hearing this, the white tiger immortal king was even more happy. If the descendant named Bai Xiaoqing could come here, then nothing could hurt her. The white tiger immortal king immediately said respectfully. Yes. Wang Ke obeys. He withdrew. It's a little strange. After the white tiger immortal king left, the girl in the white dress still frowned slightly and said. Is it because I stepped into the river of cause and effect a few days ago and was infected with the white mist? Otherwise, how could it be such a coincidence? She is very sensitive to cause and effect, and this coincidence alarmed her. It shouldn't be. How can the cause and effect of the underworld affect the people in the earth? Strangeness. She thought. But the cause and effect bird on her bird stand shouted. Cause, cause, cause. The white tiger immortal king walked out of the immortal palace. Outside, true Lord Xiaoyang was waiting. When he saw his grandfather walking out, he couldn't help but step forward and said. Ancestor, what's going on? What did the master say? Hearing this, the white tiger immortal king was excited and said. Master orders you to bring Bai Xiaoqing here immediately. Hearing this, Bai Xiaoyang was instantly pleasantly surprised. That's great. If the ultimate ancestral blood were in the outside world, I'm afraid the immortal kings would kill her. If she comes here, no one can hurt her. Bai Xiaoyang spoke happily. Go find him quickly. To ensure a safe journey, take this thing. It contains a clone of me. The White Tiger Immortal King immediately took out a tiger tooth pendant and handed it to True Lord Xiaoyang. True Lord Xiaoyang took it excitedly and said, Xiaoyang must bring her back. After saying that, he immediately turned around and left. Now. Skyline. In a small mountain village. In the small courtyard, Li Fan lived a leisurely life as always. Nanfan has become more and more familiar with the new chapter recently. He feels that Nanfan can enter a new realm above the music with just one thought. But he did not take the initiative to enlighten him, because there were some things that Nanfan needed to understand on his own. At the same time, Xuanhuan finally started fishing, but there was no harvest. Qing Chen chased the big black spider everywhere every day. The broom swept one place after another, and his movements became more and more agile. Wu Date has recently started to keep fit. According to him, he wants to train to have rough skin and thick flesh to prevent dogs from biting him. This makes Li Fan feel weird. Zhang Li understood the way of chess very quickly. Li Fan gave him a book called The True Solution to the Way of Chess. He was fascinated by it and couldn't help himself. Recently, he learned to play chess with himself. Lin Zhujian held the original Creation Sutra that Li Fan gave him and studied it every day. At the same time, he practiced ghost drawing talismans every day. Occasionally when he encountered something that he couldn't draw and it was difficult to understand, Li Fan would give guidance. Dugu Yuking's calligraphy continued to improve, and he had mastered both horizontal and vertical strokes. Li Fan also taught him basic calligraphy techniques such as point, stroke, and hook. Li Fan told him that after completing these exercises, he could try to write the first word. This made Dugu Yuking very excited. He studied hard and practiced hard, and his progress every day was amazing. And Lu Rang started shouting even more today. My grass has mutated, my grass has mutated. Everyone looked back and saw that the stems of the pot of grass planted by Lu Rang had turned blood red. How do I feel that this pot of grass has an immortal aura? The fishing rod in Xuanhuan's hand fell to the ground with a bang. He was shocked. Although it has not completely become immortal grass, it does have a trace of immortality. Does this grass have some kind of life? Nanfan murmured even more. She was more familiar with immortality, so she felt that the grass was quietly approaching immortality. Any leaf can almost kill Deluo Jingxian. Everyone in the entire courtyard was shocked. How great will this pot of grass grow in the future? Gongya felt frightened. This kind of thing is unheard of. However, it really happened today. The grass grown from the ashes of the first immortal king of heaven will grow in the future. I'm afraid it will be immeasurable. Even Xuanhuan's big eyes are rolling. Damn, I'm still exploring how to enter the realm of immortality. You guy, are you already in the same realm as me? Dugu Yuking looked at Lu Rang and felt indignant. Ahem, this is genius, this is genius. Lu Rang looked embarrassed. In fact, his true cultivation level has just broken through to the Deluo Golden Immortal Realm. In the entire courtyard, he is only slightly stronger than Wu Date and Zhang Li who came later. Even the little white cat is better than him. Li Fan also smiled and said, it's very good. The veins of the grass are like blood, which shows that all things have animism. Being able to grow such grass is enough to prove that you have made a great breakthrough in the way of planting. Hearing this, Lu Rang was even more delighted and said, Master, what should I do next? Li Fan thought for a while and said, if you are not afraid of pain, how many drops of your blood can you try every day? There is indeed such a method in the cultivation method given by the system. It is said that the planted grass can communicate with people's minds. Hearing this, Lu Rang turned around, picked up the hatchet, and cut his wrist to bleed. Li Fan was shocked when he saw this. This apprentice, his execution ability is off the charts. He also shook his head and immediately said without further intervention, Xianning, Ziling, I'm studying poetry. Xian and Zi Ling immediately moved a small bench over to prepare it. The poem I'm teaching you today is called Painting. Li Fan spoke and glanced at Zi Ling. Zi Ling's big eyes suddenly shone. She understood that master was trying to teach her. The mountains look colorful from a distance, but the water sounds silent when up close. Spring has gone and the flowers are still there, but the birds are not scared when people are here. Li Fan wrote down word for word and finished reading. In an instant, Zi Ling's big eyes revealed a look of deep contemplation. There is a certain way of movement and stillness, a way of reality and reality. This is her bottleneck. She began to think, and at the same time took out the drawing board, and couldn't help but start painting. A painting is finished quickly. What a beautiful painting, with a breath of immortality. Everyone was surprised. However, Zi Ling felt calm and did not stop at all. She followed up with another painting. The new painting has a stronger aura of immortality. Everyone was even more frightened. In an instant, they all stopped what they were doing and looked at Zi Ling. Zi Ling paints one painting after another. A dozen paintings in a row. In every painting, the breath of immortality is multiplying, and the principles of Tao are becoming perfect. Senior Sister Zi Ling, are you making a breakthrough? She is about to enter the realm of immortality. Yes, the immortal Tao can be used freely in her writing, and the poetry and painting are integrated, so that she is about to take that step. For a moment, everyone was extremely shocked. And Zi Ling fell into a state of selflessness. Looking at the mountains from afar, they have color, but hearing the water up close is silent. Everything is there in one stroke, distant and nearby, grand and delicate, quiet and sound, it all has it. She murmured. The pen is waved, the mountains rise and fall, and the spiritual springs jingle. Spring has gone and the flowers are still there, but the birds are not frightened when people are there, the flowers are still there when spring is gone, and the birds are still not frightened when people are there. It is harmony. Only harmony can be eternal, and only harmony can be invincible. Ink splashes, spring blossoms and autumn fruits, harmony and eternity. For a moment, stop writing. Her breath changed suddenly. Auras mixed with the aura of heaven and earth emanated from her body. That is, Xuanhuan immortal Qi. The great Luo Jingxian, mixed with the energy of the great Dao, becomes the Xuanhuan Jingxian, and the Xuanhuan Jingxian is called immortal. Zi Ling has entered the realm of immortality. At this moment, everyone in the courtyard was in a daze and extremely shocked. Prove the truth through painting. In the small courtyard, many of Li Fan's disciples were a little dull. Senior Sister Zi Ling, you have entered the realm of immortality and can be called an immortal lord. Long Xuanhuan murmured. It's really scary. Senior Sister Zi Ling is only in her 20s, right? Immortals of this age can only be found in the oldest primitive era. Qing Chen was also in a daze. Great, great. Nanfan was pleasantly surprised. And Zinning opened her eyes in a daze at this moment. Her eyes were extremely clear and had an even more aura to them. I'm immortal. She was a little shocked. Zinning, how did you do it? Nanfan stepped forward and asked with a smile. I just painted according to the poem that master just read. Zi Ling looked confused. How on earth did she achieve immortality? Is this true immortality or fake immortality? Is it so easy? She doubted herself. When everyone heard this, they were even more confused. Master is too powerful, immortal. In his eyes, it's nothing more than childishness. A random poem can make people realize immortality. Master is too scary. They became more and more emotional. Correct. At this time, Lin Zhuhan said doubtfully. Why was it that when Miss Xianning made a breakthrough, the heavens felt it and almost drained the entire heaven of fairy spiritual energy, but it was so easy to achieve immortality in the Xiling world. It didn't even cause any movement. Hearing this, Xuanhuan said in a complicated tone. The outer world lacks too much Taoism, so it requires the entire world's fairy spiritual energy to be enough to supply. And here, the Daoyun and spiritual energy that the immortal needs to use are just a drop of water in the ocean compared to the entire courtyard. Of course it will not cause fluctuations. When she said this, everyone understood instantly. At the same time, they were even more shocked. They all knew that this small courtyard was very extraordinary, but they didn't expect it to reach this level. The immortal's enlightenment cannot cause fluctuations. However, everyone felt relieved when they thought that the grass planted by Lu Rang could silently grow to a state close to immortality. Acceptable. However, at this time, Li Fan also nodded. This Xiling has a really good talent for painting. He deliberately read painting by Wang Wei, a great poet of the Tang dynasty, because Wang Wei's poems are famous for their poems containing paintings, and he really understood it. He smiled, looked at Xiling and said, "Yes, you have another breakthrough." After hearing what Master said, Xiling finally believed that she had really entered the realm of immortality. "Thank you, Master, thank you, Master." She spoke happily. She was so happy that her pretty face was flushed with excitement. "Haha, just for this reason, it's worth having a drink tonight." Li Fan smiled and said, "Lu Rang, go dig out a jar of wine." Hearing this, all the disciples were overjoyed, which meant that they were about to enjoy a great opportunity again. That was wine brewed by Li Fan himself. With every sip, their potential and qualifications would rise to a higher level. It can be said that the physique of a group of disciples who take holy medicine and drink holy spring every day in this small courtyard. It has long been unimaginable. Is Senior Li here? At this time, the voices of Huo Linger and others came from outside the door. Fantasy, I'm really not an unparalleled expert. Author, Gui Xin. Chapter 201. Outside the small courtyard, the voices of Huo Linger and Mu Jianing rang out. "Come in." Li Fan spoke immediately. Immediately, Huo Linger and Mu Jianing walked in. As soon as they entered, Huo Linger and Mu Jianing were instantly shocked. Their bodies froze, and then countless memories quickly appeared in their minds. When Xuanhuan proved immortal before, when immortal King Ming Luo left, he cut off all the memories of the immortal battle in this world. At this moment, when they entered this place, there was an immediate sound. After the sound, both of them looked at Xuanhuan in shock. Xuanhuan smiled slightly. "Xuanhuan, immortal lord." Huo Linger murmured. Mu Jianing looked solemn even more. "How have you been?" At this time, Li Fan smiled and said. Huo Linger and the other two immediately stepped forward and saluted respectfully. "Senior Qi, everything is fine. After the fusion of all realms, we have basically completed the unification." Huo Linger reported. Li Fan was a little happy when he heard this. The business of these two girls is really getting bigger and bigger. "But senior, just a few days ago, some immortal cities sent people to try to control the world, but we drove them away. We expect that those people from the fairy city will probably come to kill them later." Hearing this, Li Fan sighed in his heart. Sure enough, no matter which world he is in, as long as interests are involved, it will be life and death, and you will fight for it. It must be that Huo Linger and others' business has grown, and they are being coveted again. How kind is the other person? It wasn't the first time that Li Fan had helped Huo Linger and the others fight, so Li Fan asked directly. "There are 11 forces." Huo Linger spoke solemnly. Li Fan was shocked when he heard it. There were quite a lot of people. He thought for a moment and said, "Which of you wants to go?" As soon as he finished speaking, Zhuge immediately said. Master, my disciple is willing to go. Lu Rang also said hurriedly. I do too. Even Qing Chen raised his broom and said, Master, I want to go too. Everyone spoke one after another. Even Zi Ling said, Master, I want to go, I want to go. She has just achieved immortality and really wants to try her own strength. Even Nanfan, who had always been gentle, smiled slightly and said, Master, my disciple also wants to go. During this period, their strength has made great progress, and they have almost touched the edge of immortality. Now, they not only need Li Fan's guidance, but also need to compete with strong players from the outside world to better hone themselves. So I want to try it. Especially, this time the person coming is a powerful person from the immortal realm, so this opportunity cannot be missed. Li Fan was stunned. Why do you want to go? Damn, are you being led astray? Even the female apprentice wants to fight? Li Fan simply doubted his life. Moreover, looking at their eager eyes, Li Fan really couldn't refuse. I guess they are too bored staying in this small courtyard, so they want to go out and play, right? Li Fan thought for a while and said. Okay, but you have to protect yourselves. Suddenly, a group of disciples all cheered. Immediately afterwards, they all left. Only Zhang Li and Wu Dade, as well as Xian Ning and Gong Yat are still here. And at this moment, skyline. The boundary wall breaks. Waves of wild fairy spirit energy came from another world and poured into the heaven. In the crack in the boundary wall, rays of divine light were like rainbows, penetrating the two worlds. One after another terrifying figures came from above the divine rainbow. In an instant, the terrifying energy was released instantly. Immortal. The breath of immortality. God, what is that? Has the immortal descended from the immortal realm to our world? No, how could it be like this? There are so many immortals. It's terrible, isn't it terrible? Huge earthquake in heaven. Countless creatures were trembling. A total of more than a dozen immortal kings came before and after. It seems as if the world is going to be destroyed, overwhelming the 8 wastelands, and suppressing 10,000 states with anger. A total of 11 immortals descended into the heaven at the same time. This directly shocked the creatures in the heaven. What happened? Did fairyland finally notice the wrong us? Could it be that the name of the heaven violated the immortal prohibition, so the immortal appeared to destroy our world? All living beings are in panic. The pressure becomes more and more terrifying. Everyone, why don't you come here to get together? Suddenly, somewhere in the sky, a voice sounded in the distance. It's immortal Lan Ming. He is inviting. In an instant, figures one after another gathered together in an instant. Brother Lan Ming, I haven't seen you for many years, but you still have the same style. Immortal Lord Guangming spoke calmly. Isn't Immortal Lord Guangming getting stronger and stronger? Immortal Lord Lan Ming smiled calmly. Tell me, how to divide this world? At this time, Immortal Lord Yunfan spoke directly. The 11 immortal kings in the field are all concerned. Everyone has sensed the aura of this world. Immortal Lord Lan Ming smiled slightly and said. Such a blessed land is rare even in the immortal realm, so naturally it will be divided equally. Oh! Including Xiantian Prefecture, will it also be divided equally? However, Immortal Lord Yunfan spoke calmly and said, Xiantian Prefecture is not even enough to build half of the immortal city. Each of the immortal cities in the immortal realm is very grand, covering an area of tens of millions of miles. Haha, that Xiantian province is the center of the world, the most important thing. Immortal Lord Lan Ming smiled and said. In this kind of place, there is not enough division between you and me. We have to fight to decide. However, before we do it again, you and I have to clear out the ants in Xiantian state. After all, there is a high possibility that an immortal is hidden somewhere. You're just an ant, why bother? At this moment, immortal Lord Yunfan gave a cold shout and suddenly grabbed Xuanhuan with his big hand. In an instant, a terrifying and unparalleled hand of immortal spiritual power, like thousands of rainbows, overwhelmed the sky and covered the earth, traveling through space for millions of miles, heading towards Xuanhuan, the heavenly realm. This scratch can break the whole world. The entire Xiantian prefecture felt as if the end was coming. The earth is shaking. In Taiyan Holy Land, the heavenly soldiers and generals in the Xiantian alliance were all horrified. If the immortal takes action, who can defeat him? But, right now, suddenly, an endless piece of paper rose up from Xuanhuan, like a curtain that could cover the world. That terrifying hand of fairy spiritual power was instantly absorbed into it. It's like a mud cow entering the sea, but it's calm. Drawing paper is scary. The distant sky. A group of immortal kings were all shocked at this moment. What, there is an immortal here? Immortal Lord Guangming was surprised. Haha, what's so strange? If there were no immortals, how could there be two holy weapons? That makes sense, but we are waiting for the 11 immortal kings to come together. Unless the immortal king comes, gods will be killed if they stand in their way, and gods will be killed if they stand in the way of Buddha. Destroy him. A group of immortal kings are completely disdainful. An immortal? Even if 10 of them come, there are still fewer people than them. However, suddenly, the space they were in changed. Suddenly, the expressions of these immortal monarchs changed. Immediately afterwards, the void flowed around them, and the next moment, they actually appeared in the boundless sea of void. What happened? Someone secretly changed the space we are in. How can this be? A group of immortal kings were all shocked. They are all immortals and very powerful. But someone can actually secretly perform great tricks like moving mountains and reclaiming seas, without them noticing at all? Very scary. Finish. At this time, suddenly, a girl in purple appeared in front. The girl is painting, and in the painting are 11 figures, standing in the void sea. What is that? Immortal Lord Yunfan's expression changed. No. It's actually us in that painting. Immortal Lord Guangming also shrank his pupils. Could it be that we were moved here because we were in this void sea in her painting? Her painting can actually control space. The 11 immortal lords all had their hairs standing on end at this moment. This kind of almost weird painting was something they had never heard of or seen before. No matter how much, kill her. Immortal Lord Lanming also took a breath of air and spoke suddenly. With a wave of his hand, billions of feet of terrifying spiritual power blasted away. However, the girl in purple opposite her was using her paintbrush. She's fast. In the painting, the space she was in turned into a void sea of nothingness. She disappeared from the spot instantly. Immortal Lanming's terrifying blow hit them all in the air, and the waves in the void sea rolled. Where is she? Immortal Lord Yunfan suddenly pointed to a certain place in the void. The girl in purple appears in the void above, and she is painting quickly. In the paintings she painted at the same time, she was depicting this vast sea area. It seems that countless rules are running with her brush. The void sea was quickly painted, and she began to paint these immortal kings again. We can't let her paint us, her paintings are too weird. Immortal Lord Yunfan was also shocked and spoke hurriedly. Needless to say, other immortal kings have already taken action in a hurry. Because they all understand that Zi Ling's painting is too weird. Once the painting is completed, God knows what will happen. In an instant, the 11 immortal lords suddenly took action. The void sea almost boiled, and waves swept out, and the surrounding space exploded one after another. Fortunately, this place is extremely far away from the heaven, otherwise the heaven would have suffered a devastating impact. However, Ling quickly took out a blank scroll. On the scroll, her position was still depicted, but it was nothingness. She did not exist. The terrifying attacks of the 11 immortal lords gathered together and shattered the space. Black holes in the space kept appearing, but Xiling disappeared again. She is like a non-existent ghost. It's so weird, she seems to be able to put herself anywhere with just a painting. Immortal Lord Yunfan actually had cold sweat on his forehead. In her paintings, she has mastered the extremely subtle laws of space. She is far and near in just a thought. We can't kill her at all. Immortal Lord Guangming also spoke in a deep voice. Kill her no matter what. Immortal Lord Lanming roared angrily, saying, there she is. Let's attack together. I don't believe she can control the laws of space infinitely. They shot continuously. The terrifying fluctuations exploded this void sea into a mess. Black holes in the void one by one. But Xiling is still like a butterfly in the strong wind, flying gracefully without a leaf touching it. The picture she painted was finally gradually perfected. Okay. Finally, she took a deep breath and said, you can come out now. She took out another painting and shook it. In an instant, a figure actually appeared in the painting. The south wind holding the lyre. Lu Rang carrying a pot of grass on his back. Long Xuanhuan standing with his hands behind his back. Dugu Yuking holding the Huangtian brush. Carrying a broom to clean dust. Li Fan's 5 major disciples all appeared. How about it? Can I finally fight against immortality? Dugu Yuking asked urgently. Okay, I have used paintings to lock them in the sea area, and suppress their immortal power. You can fight them now. Xiling clapped her hands and smiled.